can't be that bad. Oh, it 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 can't be that
Should we keep
bad.
talking? So, because you
Beautiful.
were,
That sounds much better.
adjusting something, and then we all got really quiet.
So you're gonna, Greg, you're gonna have to
Check,
have that
check,
up to your face.
I'll have this shit up to my face.
Closer
Yeah.
than you would keep a
Here
wiener.
we go. Here we go.
Yeah, so
perfect.
But on Joe Rogan, it says a fistful away.
Like a fistful away.
Joe Rogan doesn't know
Fistful
shit, bro.
away.
Joe Rogan
Joe
knows
Rogan doesn't
nothing.
know dick, bro. You ever
All
seen
right,
him throw
so-
a kick? Just kidding.
Fistful?
He could,
A fist
yeah,
away?
that's fine. That'll be good too.
Yeah, cool.
Wait,
Yeah.
Can I hear myself more, or do I need to hear myself?
No, if
would
you want
you
me to put
like
up
to?
the,
Oh, do I? Oh, it's a choice. Of
Yeah.
course, it's a choice.
whatever you need.
It's just like at this volume where it's almost like I'm trying to hear myself.
Uh-huh.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's
yeah.
frustrating. So
It-
it's
when
like
you
just
are-
turn it off or
Or turn it up.
turn it up.
Cut.
Did you turn it off?
Turn it off. Also, if I'm gonna be up on the mic, I'm just gonna use the mic stand. So I'm gonna go grab that.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
fine. Okay, don't move your
we
chair,
have
though.
one. We have one here, Greg, that you can use.
Yeah.
Oh, is that the one you're gonna grab? I don't know why I assumed you had one in your car ready to go.
In
We
his
almost
pocket.
brought one.
I'm gonna go back home and get my.
30 minutes later.
Welcome
This-
back, guys.
It's like just like my bandmate's having a meltdown and goes home.
Honestly, that's content.
So
That's
Sulaiman,
content.
Like,
what's,
yeah.
how's it going?
That honestly is like be a theme of because I have my past drummers weren't as just great as Greg.
I was gonna say the first time I discovered you guys' music was I think you guys were doing shows in Brooklyn, and I was watching the videos on Instagram,
Oh really?
and that's where I was like, holy fuck, like this is some legit shit. And I think my favorite song you guys do is Modern Person.
It's a good one.
Yeah, that is legit. Like, was a song that I've heard maybe a million times, man. That was-
Really?
yeah,
Oh man,
that's one of my favorite songs.
Awesome, bro.
Yeah.
There's, for a good amount of time,
Thank you, bro.
like when I was going to your guys' live shows a lot, your music, and still today, it gets stuck in my head where I'm like singing it at work, and people will ask me, yo, what are you singing? And then like I'll have to show them like who you guys are on Spotify and whatnot. But it's dope. And many times I've said this before that I want to start the very first Act
yeah.
Natural Duo Exp cover band,
That would be so awesome.
Act Unnatural, and it'll be me
Act Unnatural.
doing it very mediocre and
single
opening for you guys.
The solo exp.
The Solo Exp. Hi, my name is Christian, and I'll do it the Eagles style where I'll be drumming and singing.
But you have to
Yeah.
have like a puppet. So when one of them looks like two people, but
You
we
have
know
to-
it's
have to
one person.
start to.
Oh, it's like it's a whole act.
It is.
If I could do that,
Act
honestly,
natural.
you could sell that.
Could I be your manager so I can get a piece of that?
Shit, dude, you could be the puppet.
Oh, okay.
Oh, is that an insult?
I mean, no. I just don't want your hand up my ass.
Okay, all right, deal. I won't put it up there.
Unless I ask.
I guess consent is key in 2020.
Hello, everybody.
Yeah. I guess we should say our names.
Yeah, say hello.
Yes, my name is Gregory Matthew Sunga. I was born in Oakland, California, the Naval Hospital,
Ooh.
the year 1993.
Was it raining?
Ooh. Yeah,
I don't remember. It was September, so
Maybe.
probably not.
I would say no, but maybe.
We'll just say no.
Okay, no.
Yeah, describe
Yeah.
your birth to us. I don't. Because you might
It was
be
quick,
the only
and,
infant in the world that remembers their own birth.
You remember every second of your birth, too. Is that correct?
I don't. I just
Oh.
remember what my mom told me. But who knows? Maybe I wasn't even born there. Maybe
Oh.
it just like,
She found you in an egg
ooh,
and was like,
dang. Maybe I was like, parachuted in from a covert baby school.
Honestly, that's a way cooler birth than 100% of the births that happen.
I'm
on
actually
Earth.
like part of a sleeper cell, you know. So like,
you're a Manchurian candidate.
You know,
I'm just waiting to turn on.
I will tell you that in comparison to a lot of my friends, you are probably the most mysterious one. So you could
Son of a
potentially get away with just making up these crazy, crazy lies about how cool your birth was, and no one would question it.
it's funny you say mysterious too, because I remember when my mom used to cut hair at the Sport Clips here in Benicia. Morel Wong, he went to that Sport Clips, and then he was like talking to my mom about me, and he was like, "Oh yeah, Greg, he's mysterious." Wow. And my mom was like thrown off by it too, and then she told me about that, and I was like, "Really?
Well, that's because she's your mom.
Mysterious?" Yeah, I guess. I
Yeah.
don't know.
But I mean, like, you have a goofy side to you for sure. But, like, also, you choose when to be more transparent than other times, right? And I think that's why a lot of girls liked you in high school, is because you told me
Ooh
this.
la la.
I didn't know that's where this was going, but okay, keep going.
No. I mean, many times. I would first of all, before we go any further, I
Yes.
want to introduce the Baddies to our very, very special guests here in the studio. Guys, we have Act Natural, the Duo Exp
That's right.
in the building. What's up? Yeah, you guys. Okay, so Greg.
Yo, they're so cool.
Yeah, Greg Sunga is here, and we got Sulaiman. Sulaiman, you're acting even more mysterious than Greg at the moment. So, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Sulaiman Azimi. Act Natural, the Duo Exp is my band with Greg.
Hell
Sunga.
yeah. Where were you born?
I was born in Alexandria, Virginia,
Right on.
12/17/1990.
Nice.
Very nice. And your
And-
social security number?
You hear that? That means the dirty
231
30s coming up.
45 8466.
You got to put the bleep, 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 bleep.
We gotta
Nope,
bleep
that's
that
out.
precious
This is
information
live.
out.
This is going out right now.
Nice.
Awesome.
Tell us more about your birth, because Greg parachuted in to the Kaiser
Covert.
Permanente,
Were you collect out
It
of
was
an egg as
the
well? or-
Naval Hospital. Get it right.
the Naval Hospital.
That's
I'm
right.
so sorry. I got it, man.
Were you born in a Kaiser?
Yeah, for
I'm
sure.
pretty sure I was too, actually.
I was born in a San Francisco Kaiser, which is basically a seafood city, daily city probably. In the fish section.
I was born at Bellflower Hospital.
Oh, nice.
Thank you very much.
Does this really depict our hierarchy in life about what hospital we were born at? How about the people born in bathtubs?
Ooh.
Well, those people have hippie parents, and we don't acknowledge their life.
I acknowledge their lives because
we
if
can
you're
acknowledge the life. There's nothing wrong with that.
I refuse.
yeah.
All right.
Okay, we are detracting. The point
Yeah. We're supposed to be having fun.
the point of this conversation is to find out more about Sulaiman's birth.
That's right.
Yeah.
Alexandria, Virginia, 1990. Take us back.
1990. Parents immigrated from Afghanistan.
Nice.
Okay.
My parents are also immigrants.
Okay.
Right on.
Mine too. I just wanted to throw it in, but there wasn't a long enough pause for me to throw it in. I want to be included.
Not mine.
Get the fuck out. Anyways,
I have an older sister. She's
Nice.
6 years older than me. So my parents had her in the United States 6 years before me, and they immigrated not too long before that. Before they had my sister, and then they had me in Alexandria, Virginia, at the Alexandria Hospital.
nice.
And I asked my mom a lot, like, when I was born, because sometimes I think like, oh, I'm gonna check out these astrology apps and stuff, and like the real ones, they want to know,
Time and
yeah,
mhm.
and but like in our in like Afghan culture, at least like the my parents' generation, they don't have birth certificates. I'm pretty
wow.
sure, or they do maybe, but like it's just
It's
kind
not
of
as relevant. Yeah.
It's not as relevant, or it got lost in the immigration or whatever process. So a lot of like older Afghans, like they don't know their actual age. They kind of have an idea. Like they'll be like, I was born in springtime or something,
A generalization.
So so yeah, they came over here and then they had me.
Nice.
Nice, dude. That's cooler. That's cooler than my birth. There's, like I just said, born in San Francisco to immigrant parents, and that's about it. And
Hey,
people thought I was an immigrant,
Don't.
but I was born in SF.
Relax, okay? Now, some people make that mistake. But don't belittle your birth, bro. It was a great day. And I believe it was June 30th.
Oh wow, you got my birthday down.
Fuck yeah! It's only taken me 2 years.
My mom got a C-section. Lazy.
Oh.
I'm sorry. That's
I think that
messed
just
up.
means she likes. I think that just means she loves your father. If you know what I mean.
Sorry, that's disgusting, dude.
Oh,
That is
Yeah.
gross. Something else I wanted to ask is,
Wait, you can never be king.
oh no, too bad U.S. isn't a monarchy.
You can.
So you guys are the very first double whammy guests that we have here on ICBTB
We've had two people in the room before, but we made one of them sit
on the beanbag.
Yeah,
And if
away
they-
from the microphone.
And if they spoke, we yelled at them.
And then we cut that part out of the episode.
You're bleeding into the mic.
Shut the fuck up, Chris.
Yeah, can you breathe more quietly?
I can hear you crunching
Snoring.
your Doritos in the corner.
Yeah, Otis would snore quite a bit too.
Yeah, dude. People falling asleep during the episodes.
People being Otis.
Yeah, people being Otis. Shout out to Otis.
Otis Parker, shouts out.
Yeah. But I wanted to ask. So you guys are the first double guests here. We should switch roles one of these
Honored.
days. We'll have a comedy music show,
Yeah.
and then we'll play your instruments. I'll be on guitar and do vocals like Sulaiman, and you could do drums. You could do drum set
I could,
like
yeah.
Greg, and I think
Not like Greg, but I could do the drums.
we could figure it out. Yeah,
We
do
would
it.
be less than half of you guys, but that's still a show.
Yeah, and we'll do half of your songs only.
Still a spectacle. Not like half of the songs, just half of the notes. So every other.
Yeah, that's very like on the duo concept though, because it's like half, it's like split.
Fuck yes.
You're in the,
See,
And that's why-
going in the
that's
right
why-
direction.
Already in
Yeah,
it.
and that's why it's important we're here. Like the first two, I was telling Greg because it's like we're the first two, but it's also duo, which is like important concept.
It is. It's not just
Yeah.
two random ass dudes we found on the street. You guys come as a
It's the
package.
duo EXP.
The
It's
peas,
like-
two peas in a pod.
It's like it was meant to be.
Yeah, you guys were. Well, it just kind of. I remember Greg showing me your voice prior to you actually forming a band with each other, and I was like, "Man, this fool's really fucking good." And Greg has standards. Like you're a great drummer, and
Just look at his car.
yeah, your Tesla is killing it. Obviously, that's his standard. But it's fucking awesome that it turned into what this is now. I mean, you guys pack like a full sound with
Yeah.
just the two of you.
You do. You really do. You really make a great experience too. Like I said, right before we started recording was, like I found you guys through some of your videos on your live shows that you did. And it's the energy that you guys are able to bring even through that. It's something that's very palpable, I find. And I really enjoy your guys' music. And I don't mean that as like a pandering thing because you guys are on a show, but like I really do thoroughly enjoy you guys' energies and stuff like that. To get really California with it. I love your energies, bro. Your vibes are
Yeah, man.
your vibes
Thank you,
are great.
man.
Thank
Thank
you.
you,
Thank you
bro.
so much.
Yeah, thank you.
So has it like COVID's really been taking a toll on you guys though, because like live gigging ain't a thing anymore, huh? Or it's hard to.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I would say yes. The answer to that is yes, because the live element is sort of like one of the pillars of our our form of expression. You
Sure.
know, it's
Yeah.
like the live is really important for us because of many reasons, which I'd be happy to talk about. But like, yeah, definitely. I think the general understanding right now as far as COVID goes with musicians is that the gig is on hold, and for comedians too, or for all kinds of different artists, like that's what's missing. And streaming is sort of like the alternative, but I gotta say I could probably speak for Greg on this too, which is that we're not really like syncing well with that. And it's because the live experience is like it's obvious what the live experience is. It's been defined and people people generally understand
sure.
why. Yeah, it's
It's a
important.
palpable thing.
Yeah, but for us in particular, it's something that we actually want you to see.
Yeah.
Because it's our the reason personally for me is the reason why it's so important is because it's the same as the record. It's the same as what we are in our garage where we rehearse and create the music, and it's not that I don't want so what that does is it sort of it kind of there's a oneness to it. Like that's what's important to me is like I don't think it's bad if you're so I want to just basically stress that I don't think it's bad or if you record a certain way and then you don't sound the same live. But I like that we don't.
Yeah.
I like that's just something
The
that
consistency of it.
it's important sort of pillar of our of our duo is that we you hear the record and then you come and see us live and it sounds like that and but then you get to see us doing it, so it's and I feel like that's just kind of rare too nowadays with what you can do with production.
Sure.
And then I also want to say what you can do with production is something that both Greg and I can do. Like we can do things that you can't pull off live.
For sure. In the studio.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the on the back end of it, you
It's
could
possible for us to do. We know how to do it.
for sure.
We have the experience and we love it too, and we do all the time.
You understand the use for it, but you guys don't do
so
it.
we're not hating on it.
Yeah.
But the Duo Exp or Unnatural is a space for us, and I think you're in agreement, right? So far,
absolutely.
it's the space for us to do the opposite of that. Having a duo obviously is like very vulnerable.
Sure.
And having a guitar and vocal, and then no bass or no other instruments.
I was gonna ask, do you guys find a little bit of difficulty or a little bit of pushback from the contemporary, music group, where people are like, how can you guys run this just two people? It doesn't seem like enough, or what kind of things do you guys find?
It's interesting you say that, because one of the things that I like to do when I show people the music for the first time is I don't tell them it's a duo. I'm just like, check this music out, and then like I let them decipher for themselves. And it's, there's been some times where I get to like capture their reaction and like see it myself.
Yeah.
And then they're like, wow, like, I was like, yeah, it's just two people actually.
Yeah.
Like, oh, well, like, did you like backtrack any of that, or did you circle back and do
Loop
anything?
some of it, yeah.
Exactly.
Layer it,
Layer anything? I'm like, no, like honestly,
it.
and the first record we did was live, like, and we did it at Fantasy Studios, Berkeley, California, where you at?
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, R.I.P. to that studio too. But we did that shit live, man. And I'll tell you, like, in the moment, I fucking hated it, because we literally would have to go through the song every time, because we weren't doing any punches. Like, for people that don't know, a punch is like, all right, we're gonna start in the middle of the song and just continue the last half. We literally were doing like songs all the way through, and if it wasn't a good take, we were doing it. Like, I think on one of them we did like 20 something takes,
More.
Holy
probably
shit.
more.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, Modern Person we probably did fucking hella times. I don't even know, man.
Well, it sounds great on the album.
It sounds
Thank
so
you.
It's
good.
incredible.
Thank
That
you.
is my all-time favorite.
Yeah, and I think it just goes back to what Sule was saying about, just like the live aspect, and like it's Duo Exp. Like, it's about the experience, being there in the moment and seeing the way that we perform and the chemistry that's created. Like, that's one thing to just listen through your headphones or through your car, through your phone speaker, but it's another thing to just see like the two people actually playing that music for you in front of you.
Yeah.
I agree.
I mean, well, you guys have this nonverbal communication. Like, I've seen you guys live plenty of times, and like I love being like up close and seeing your guys' sweat. Wow, this is sounding erotic. I'm so sorry.
No,
But you know
keep
what I'm
going.
saying?
Please keep going. Please keep going.
He's
You
in the
guys have a
splash zone.
nonverbal communication. Like Sule, you're like headbanging. Greg is headbanging in the back, and you guys like understand each other's transitions. And what captured me, and Greg and I have been friends for a very long time.
Over a
and
decade, boy.
And I owe a lot of my musical standards to you and the rest of our group of friends.
Thanks, man.
To not support mediocrity, right? And to just and to really give appreciation to where it's deserved.
Yeah.
And you guys bring that standard, because like I know you and I can see it on your face when you're not happy with the product, right? And like you guys have found this pocket with each other, and like a product that you guys are proud of, and an aesthetic that you guys are proud of. You guys ain't square. You guys are very hip. There's a lot of time signature changes in your guys' songs, which is dope as hell. And I just this past week bumped all of your guys' tracks on Spotify as I was running. Pumped. If I was any more pumped, I'd probably punch a passerby in the face.
No punching. Don't punch anything.
Yeah, 6 feet
No.
apart.
Punch those people. Punch them. Punch them.
We
Fuck
are
them, bro. Fuck
pro
'em.
punch here.
Punch man,
I
women,
want to go
babies.
back to something that you're saying about like the mediocrity, right? Like,
Yeah, man.
because you said something interesting about like people who can make something in the studio but can't do it live.
Yeah, for sure.
Sure.
Like, for me, honestly, that's like maybe the one part of what you were saying that I don't agree with, because I'm like, and maybe that's just like part of me, but that's the way I would look at it. Is like, okay, yeah, it's like a studio gangster almost. Like, you can be in the studio and make like this dope record, but you can't come to a show and perform and like get a crowd going and have people like engaged in your content. It's one thing, and that's part of how the industry has changed now too, with streaming, people just being able to record albums in their garage and just release them, right? So there is like that change to it, but I definitely value kind of the artistry and just like musicianship.
Yeah,
For sure. And the
Yeah.
talent that it takes to create music, I think, can be muddied by the technology we have now. I think it's very easy for, I mean, I tell people all the time, I think podcasting is our generation's garage band. Where like in the 80s and in the 70s where everybody could like finally afford amps and mics and things like that. Now that became a thing that a lot of people could do. Well, in the same kind of sense, people can afford editing software and cameras and mics and things like that. So we're able to create sort of things that we create in our garage, so to speak. But you guys physically record music in your garage, don't you? I mean, you guys, or not record, but you guys do quite a bit of music out of your garage. And it's always, at least for the couple of times I've been there, it's always quite an experience because it is such a tangible thing where this is just happening right now. This is just for this moment right here. And it's like, and to me, it's almost one of those things where it's like, it's so fallible. It's going to be gone and it will never potentially come back ever again. Which is something that I'm fascinated by music, by musicianship and the idea of, like jazz, for example, is like so improvisational.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't know why I struggle to find that word.
As an improviser yourself?
Exactly.
What's the word where you make things up on the spot?
Well, because I think of it as like a comedy thing, right? I always forget that improv is used in so many different things, but that kind of talent to kind of feel the other person's energy and understand where they're going is something that you only find every once in a while. And the fact that you guys have found it in your group is something that me and Christian talk about that we found, in our comedy. It's like you kind of know where they are, where they're standing, where they're leading without even them.
It's a different form of communication.
Yeah.
We've talked about that. Yeah.
I connect so strongly with you guys because you guys are two people creating a product that you both believe in and love to do. And we're doing the same thing, but like, let's just say like a different language, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, good way. Yeah.
Because even prior to this recording, like we were getting, Alejandro and I getting a little frazzled, setting up all of the stuff and whatnot. And you guys were having your talks about like how you should be sitting and all the stuff. And then we were having our talks about like, no, I'll turn the camera on. Like you got it, you sit down.
Yeah.
And in a way, it's so similar. It's analogous to each other. And like, I connect so much. And to go a little deeper in it, and you guys know that I sing too, and I'm
looking to be your third person.
I want to be your backup
So
singer.
can I do backup vocals?
No, but I do want to. On a serious note, like as I've gotten older and as I've become a fish, no longer in a small pond where I was like the only singer, and like so people were like, Christian sings great. I went to community college and I did vocal jazz, and you meet some like great singers there. Then I went to a 4-year college, and then like I did a cappella, and you meet some fantastic singers there. And then you get older and you watch videos and you just consume more music, and you're like, fuck. And it's so difficult for me to not be struck by imposter syndrome and feel that I don't deserve the praise that I've gotten. When I'm literally friends with some fantastic musicians, like Sule, when I first met you, huge respect because I'd already heard your vocals before. And like on top of that, like you are a powerful musician. And how can I not be intimidated at the same time? Like, respect and intimidation can go hand in hand easily because I know that I have capabilities to sing. I'm a vocalist and I know music theory on a very surface level, but I wouldn't call myself a musician. And I've heard before that like vocalists.
I think you're cutting yourself short, but continue.
And that's where I'm saying this is where imposter syndrome comes in. That I feel that I don't deserve a lot of the praise that I've gotten in the past. But then you see some people work so hard for it. Like you guys work so hard for it. Sule, I'm sure you've been working on your voice for so long to have that kind of tone that you have and whatnot.
All right. Well, so I like to stop you because there's a couple of things you said. Like, first of all, like I respect everything you're saying. It's really nice for you to be as honest as you're being about your experience of like experiencing me. And I have to say that what do I want to say here? Because well, let me go to the point that I remember, which is in regards to you not being able to define yourself as a musician based off of whichever thoughts you might have in regards to how you define being a musician. And then, to be fair, a lot of maybe what you think of me is assumed because we haven't really talked about, for example, what my definitions are of a musician or a singer. And to further clarify, I'll say that, you know, my experience as a singer in particular has been filled with insecurity, because for me, my musical background starts with a very early age with my father being a musician as well. And it started with keys, actually a harmonium, which is a instrument that's used in Eastern music, and it has a kind of a pump like an accordion, but it rests on the floor, and it has a set of keys. And the keys, if I'm not mistaken, they play the lower and next octave at the same time.
Oh, interesting.
It's a very beautiful instrument. It's used in Eastern music. And my father played it, and he sang, and my father's a songwriter and a singer from Afghanistan. So anyway, the point I'm trying to make is that through the years of growing up as a musician, the instrument was more of my thing, and singing was actually the thing that I felt most sort of insecure about, and took me some time to feel, actually until more recently, like as of like now in this moment, I do feel as a singer, because I actually feel that way when I sing in the car, when I sing in general. Personally, I feel really good at it.
You should.
You're really good at it. Yeah.
But I want to stress my whole point being that it took until now, or more recently, to be more specific, more recently is when that feeling has come, that validation for myself.
Yeah.
But up until then, honestly, you know, I felt like how you felt. I would always say I'm not a singer. I'm just sort of I'm trying, figuring out, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. And the reasons vary. I mean, I would see other singers doing certain things that I felt like, oh, they're really singing and I'm not. And you have your reasons too. But I also wanted to say everything I'm saying. My point is just to just comfort your insecurity of feeling like less or whatever, in terms of, particularly with singing, because literally I felt that same way for a long time, and I still do sometimes. I mean, and you know, going to, you know, we can talk about Greg.
We can talk about Greg now.
We can talk about Greg now.
No, we don't.
No, okay, Greg, where were you born?
Tell us about your dad's musical history.
I'm kidding.
Well, go ahead. Yeah.
I mean, what were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say, well, Greg's you know, you're talking about Greg's like, you know, music taste earlier, you know.
Yes, in terms of like in his standards.
Yeah. Yeah, well, Greg has a love for jazz, as I understand it, and when you love jazz music, there's a certain understanding of music.
Higher understanding.
It's different, yeah. And, you know, it's like you don't want to say higher, you don't want to say higher art, right? But there's a certain aspects of all art that are like a different level, you know. And it might not be hierarchy, it might be linear, but it's different. Sure. And from that perspective, you experience, you know, it's just like almost like a new dimension. You're experiencing music different. Like, for example, Greg and I, we both like making beats, and we like sampling music, sampling sounds, particularly from vinyl or from older records or really any kind of record. But it
sounds good. Grab it.
Sounds good. But sometimes you grab a sound and you can manipulate it, and it sounds very strange. Mm-hmm. And then, you know, I gotta say, like, there might be some, even you guys, no offense, might be in the room and you might not really hear what Greg and I are hearing. Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Because there's just some certain kind of particular trippy, it's trippy usually.
Yeah. Like crickets.
Rhythmic. Yeah, like crickets, for example. Sometimes we're making beats and we hear the crickets outside. Wow. And we're just like tripping out on it because they're on time.
They'd be going with the beat. They'd be doing like 5/4, like making
they do
like
time signature.
Well, we'll be like nodding with the crickets.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
It's tight.
And maybe the crickets might not know, obviously, but
no, but they have a natural.
This is
they do know. They
are
do know.
natural. Yeah.
An example that I have when I had Snapchat downloaded, I would send snaps to Greg, and shout out to our other close group of friends, Jason, Alan, and Ty.
Fop Patrol.
Shout out to Fop Patrol. I would send Snapchats to your guys' group, or to our group, and one of them was I heard it from like a movie, but the words were Itty Bitty Titty Committee, and I just kept on saying it, not even realizing what kind of abstract time signature that creates.
Heck
because
yeah.
it goes Itty Bitty Titty Committee, Itty Bitty Titty Committee, Itty Bitty Titty Committee, Itty Bitty Titty, and it's not your it's not your, it's unorthodox. It's to like
It's not your standard 4/4.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's not your standard 4/4. It's something completely different, and it rocks on its own.
Yeah, and
Something
for those who don't know, that's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2,
used in like
But now do the itty bitty titty committee.
itty
What's
bitty
itty
titty
bitty?
committee. Is
1,
that
2, 3? Oh, jeez, don't
Dun,
stress me.
dun, 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 dun,
There's a
dun,
pause
dun.
in
It's like
it.
7 or some
weird.
7.
Yes.
Some odd time
I
signature.
like it.
It's
like it.
fucking
All
awesome.
these drummers are gonna come after me. Ask John Boo will tell you. Alan Boo will probably tell you. Matt Lowe will probably tell you.
Yeah.
Adam
And they'll
Clay will
tell us.
you.
Yeah. Well,
In a heartbeat. Carlos Casablanca will tell you quick too.
What abstract music is? So like, let's say pop music. Let's say music is just a language, right? Which it definitely
is.
is. Let's say pop music is like surface level language. It's the phrases. It's like, where's the bathroom? I'm hungry. Gotta go pee.
Donde
Gotta go
está
outside. That's
el
pop
biblioteca?
music. Let's say that. Let's say like jazz music is speaking. It's like the love language in a language. It's deeper, and it's you have to know more vocabulary to be able to articulate.
it's a dialect.
Yes, it's that's what it's like. Okay, I'm trying to articulate, but I sound nonsensical. And let me know if my analogy comes across. Let's say someone who plays guitar and learns chords only to be able to play chords off of tabs from
Green Day.
from Green Day and all that stuff, but they don't learn the theory. That's like only learning phrases of a language.
That's
right?
how I learned the piano.
Right?
That's exactly how I learned
So
playing
you know
piano.
chords to songs that
Yeah.
you've looked up.
Exactly.
But we have a friend, Carlos, who is great on the piano.
Can hear it and do it.
He could hear it and do it because he knows the language, like words. He knows. Do you understand the analogy I'm trying to?
Punctuation.
Yeah.
Yes,
Got
the
it down.
punctuation.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
knows
He
the
knows
grammar.
rural
Yeah.
slang too. He knows. He understands how
Yeah,
to.
he knows. All the rural slang and.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah.
Yes.
Don't
Okay.
get nervous. No, don't sit on your
No,
hands.
I'm insecure because
Yeah,
I talk
no.
about music, and
You're
this is what I was
100%
saying. I'm
right.
insecure about.
But don't be because you are bringing quite a. You're showing your depth of knowledge.
Trying.
And
don't,
it's
don't play yourself down as a
Yeah.
musician either, man. Because man, through high school we was in drumline together.
yeah. You are
play-
a certified musician.
Yeah, you played the tuba, and you weren't like.
You destroyed a
Yo, and
sousaphone.
mad love to my boy Jason Garospi, but you weren't faking playing tuba like Jason was faking trombone.
yeah,
Hey, I faked trombone in middle school too, bro.
No, yo, love to Jason. I love that boy, but I'll never forget. There was this one time we were in a pep band rehearsal, and we was doing like whatever some song or some shit like this, and then the band director, Mr. Marr, he called on Jason to play like some part,
yeah.
and Jason actually played the part, and I was like, "Yeah, Jason, you did it!" But like otherwise, every other time, like, and he played trombone too, so he'd be in the front rank
Yes.
if we were in the marching block. So like he really had to be on with like his slide positions,
Dude,
Yeah,
you
but
would
he's
notice.
visible.
yeah, exactly.
Yikes.
So Matt, big shout out to Jason for being able to pull that off. He made,
Because with other instruments, you could fake the fingerings.
yeah.
Like, okay,
It's not showing where you're doing
the trombone
thing. Yeah.
is the most visually expressive.
I
like,
played the trombone.
yeah, you know
I
exactly.
played it in middle school. I copied everything Alan Boo did because I didn't know. I don't know how to read music, but I can like read beats. So I would just like peek out of the corner of my eye,
Heck
whatever
yeah.
Alan was doing, and just do.
Alan's a
That's
good one
how
to
you
follow.
do it, man.
That's a pretty
That's a good
that's
one to
It
follow.
was me, Alan, and Andrew Donovan. We were the 3 tromboners.
I played the sousaphone, and the sousaphone was so tiring for a fat boy like me in high school.
But fat boys have to use the sousaphone.
Oh yeah,
It's
that's
funnier.
I didn't choose to play the tuba.
But God chose the tuba for you.
God, as in the band director, lined up me and 2 other dudes, and I was like, "What's going on?" And
What
I
do we
looked
all
at
have
us,
in common?
and yeah, what do we have all in common? Oh, we're all overweight, and like, lo and behold, our band director was like, "Okay, I chose you guys because you guys are gonna be saving the band because we need people to play the tuba." And then like here I
not
am
wrong.
looking, and I'm like, I wonder why. How come you didn't choose Jason Garospi?
He probably couldn't hold the tuba back then. He was so small. The tuba was bigger
The
than
tuba,
him.
yeah, I was gonna say tuba probably weighed more than him.
Yo,
Tuba's fucking huge.
That's hilarious too, because for some reason I thought of, you said there's like another person that was with you. I've thought of that scene in Drumline with Nick Cannon where it's like they got to audition. It's like P1 to P2, the 2 bass drum guys. And he's like,
Yeah.
all right, I gotta go like I gotta kick this dude out of his spot. It's like you guys were in that moment where you're like, all right, who's it gonna be?
Who's it gonna be? It becomes a little competitive and intense.
I had to fake play trumpet when I
You did?
first. Yeah, when I first came to the high school. It was like the end of the band camp. Yeah, one time at band camp. Actually, 4 times at band camp.
4 times at
yeah,
band camp.
Yeah, and I came at the end, and then
Don't we all?
that's.
I had
that's a
liquid in my
snippet
mouth. I was about to spit it all out.
there. I came at the end.
Really? Because I
yeah,
come in the
beginning.
middle.
So like when I first started, like the school year started, there was no like percussion positions open because
That's the hot.
yeah, like Adam Clay was there, Max Montoya. Shouts out Max Montoya, and then who was the other person? Oh, Jeff.
Baltazar.
No, Jeff.
Definitely not
Jeff
me.
Bryce.
Uh-huh.
You remember Jeff?
Yes, I do.
Cool guy. I like that guy a lot. He played bass drum, but then Jeff ended up quitting band. So
It was open.
Yeah, rewind. Like, remember the bridge opening?
Yeah.
The Benicia Bridge? The band played that gig. And it was like a big thing, too, because the Governator was there.
Yeah.
Like, Arnold Schwarzenegger was there.
Ooh, big boy
I was there
Arnold.
too, actually, right up like on the cliff.
Yep, on the cliff.
Yeah.
But the band played a gig there. They just like some pep band songs
That's
or whatever.
awesome.
And I fake played trumpet for that gig.
Fuck yeah, bro.
They put me up in the uniform and everything, and yep, fake played the trumpet.
Dude,
and then-
what if Arnold came up to you, be like, "I like you." I do a terrible Arnold impersonation.
You have to start with like, "Wow." You have to get into it.
like it a trumpet playing.
You know,
It sounds like I'm choking on meatloaf.
what if he was like, I like that trumpet player. Bring him.
Solo?
And he made you play right
But
there.
you could fake a solo, right? Isn't that just making shit up?
I mean, I'd have to be playing. A solo means you're...
He still has me playing. It's hard to make sound come out of trumpets because like your lips have to be
Yeah.
super tight.
I think you're
Sule knows. Sule got a flugelhorn. Yeah, dang.
You got a flugelhorn?
Yo, COVID has been crazy, man. It feels like it's been like a lifetime almost because
It has.
this was during COVID, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he bought a flugelhorn.
So you started from no flugelhorn knowledge to now
No,
you're.
I used to play the trumpet and started in I believe 4th or 5th grade, and then I kept it up until high school. But I wanted to see if I can make it happen again, and I didn't even know what the flugelhorn was until Greg told me.
Best sounding horn ever.
It's pretty cool.
What does it sound like?
It's warm.
It's nice.
Warm.
It's nice.
It's warm. It's like if you take like a bridge pickup on a guitar and you turn the tone down.
You ever
Nice.
heard?
It's
You ever
warm.
heard the
It's
name
like-
Donald Byrd?
Now I've heard the name Donald Duck.
Nope, Donald Byrd, man.
That-
Wow, I
that-
never even thought about that. Donald Byrd, Donald Duck. That's crazy. Donald Byrd with a Y.
Okay, I'll have to look this up.
Yeah, really good flugelhorn. Plays trumpet too, but
Yeah.
recorded a lot of stuff at Fantasy Studios with the Blackbirds. In the
I have
There's a
to-
lot of history at that
Heck
studio.
yeah.
Yeah.
R.I.P. Fantasy Studios.
I've been meaning to ask you, and I don't know if we've asked you before, but prior to COVID happening, we were trying to plan by like the end of this year. We wanted to do a live ICBTB show. We were looking at venues, see what like the hourly or nightly fee would be, and we've always, since the very beginning, had you two in mind to like open and close the show or do like an intermission.
We'd love to.
Heck yeah.
Is that what-
Yes.
Yes, in advance.
Fuck yeah!
Yeah, I
John,
think-
this is recorded, so if you guys, I don't
Stamp.
care if you
That was
guys
me doing
are
a
on
stamp.
tour.
But
I think it
Duo
was
stamp
even
now.
what was even funny. I think we both had the idea to bring you guys on when without even talking to each other. We both like, and then like we'll break it and then we'll have like Duo Exp come and do a song, and we're both like, yeah, I was thinking that too, and it's like really,
Yeah.
and it's like,
Get the fuck out of my head!
and then we started making out, and now we have a podcast.
That's how the podcast happens. You guys make out too as a duo, right?
No.
That's how you guys keep the partnership
Yo,
strong.
Nah.
What if,
Christian, you told me that's how you keep the partnership strong.
dude? What if like right before their shows, and this is the live
Hey,
performance?
Hey, good luck.
This is why you gotta see Act Natural live.
I don't know if you guys you don't hear it on the records, but they're definitely still kissing. Like it's
Yeah.
just a lot quieter.
There's a point where they request for all the lights to go down.
Actually, they ask all the lights to go on,
Oh, to go on.
so everybody can see the kissing.
This is where the time signature changes happen because it goes from a
Itty
4/4
bitty
rock
titty
song
committee.
into a 6/8 ballad, and now everyone on the floor is making out.
It's yeah. Don't bring your mother. I made that mistake bringing my mother to the last show.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Hot question while we're here and it's in the middle of the show.
No, I just got to say we like moms. You should have definitely please have your moms come to the show.
Yeah,
the making
We
out
did.
thing's not
Pro
Yeah, we've
moms.
had like moms come through to the house for house
sure,
shows.
for
Yeah,
sure.
like
That's
people that
awesome.
live
All
around. Yep, people that live around the
Ooh.
corner. Like, yeah, those two older ladies. They were
Yeah,
nice.
we had some youngins too. You know, like
Yeah.
the next generation come and check us out too.
Yeah, you got to show your ID to get into the garage though.
Oh,
That's
that
a
makes
good
sense.
move. That's a solid move, actually.
And we got like the blacklight thing, so we checked like the real thing. You know.
so, if
Oh,
they, so you
wow.
see if they have a good fake.
Yeah, we could see all those sperm stains all over your phone.
That's what, all of your fucking ID. Is that what you
Your
said?
ID's got just jizz all over it.
Who's
what are all these
doing that?
spots?
How else do you clean up?
What you scrape it with your California ID? Oh man.
I don't use my California ID. I use my American Express
My
black card.
Oh, that's what you use?
My real ID.
I use my
That's un-American, bro. I refuse to get one of
It's
those.
only Californian.
only California, dude. I think it's about that time of the show where we do an improv scene.
Oh,
So, you guys
let's go.
are not improvisers, but you guys
We
are
improvise
ready.
all the time.
You guys improvise all the time in terms
Improvise
of
every
music,
day.
and I'm super ready to do this. You super ready to do this?
I do want to say I was gonna run this past you before the show. I was like, what if we start the improv scene and then me and you don't do the improv scene and just
Oh.
let Greg and Sulaiman do the whole thing?
Do you
love
guys
it.
want to do an improv scene by
I
yourself?
love it. Yeah, let's.
I mean,
Oh, fuck yeah!
Really?
I guess,
Well,
yeah,
I'm open to either one.
Yeah, whatever.
What do you guys want to do?
Honestly, I've never done improv before. Just to put that out there,
Uh-huh.
I've definitely watched it
You've seen
for
it.
years. Christian,
Yes.
Whose line is it anyway?
Whose line is it anyway? Good old Wayne Brady. Like,
Yes.
but I've never actually participated myself.
Well,
Today's
So,
the day,
Here we are.
no pressure. It's just recorded for
2020.
immortality. Yeah.
and we're sending this to Wayne Brady.
Yes.
Do it.
Yeah. He's coming on the show next.
He's in the hallway.
Yeah,
Honestly,
night's not over. But yeah, just look at us if you guys want us to come in. But if not, we're just gonna sit back and relax and enjoy.
I want you to come in.
Okay, we'll come in.
Okay,
then.
we'll come in.
Okay,
We'll
okay,
come
okay.
in. We'll come in.
So we'll just jump. Okay.
So you just like do improv? Is there like a
Alejandro
premise?
says he has like a little intro.
I have a little. We say. I say.
Oh, okay.
I say, ladies and gentlemen,
Hit it.
highly irrelevant, and then we have like a clapping break that we put in.
Yes, yes.
That's almost
That
exactly
one?
how it sounds.
Pretty
Little
much.
kid one. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, highly irrelevant. Come on, Suzy, let's go to the park. Come
Which
on.
park?
We're going to the park with a big slide.
And
No, Suzy, you don't like the slide anymore?
I do like it, but
Come on.
can we bring Greg with me?
Call him up.
I'll come with you.
Okay. I'm glad you're here,
I
Greg.
wanna
I didn't see you there. Hop out of that bush. I'm glad you're here.
We're duo. We're always together. You know?
I should have known. Hey, it's okay. Take a breath. Take a breath. We're going to go to the park. We'll all go down the slide.
Hey, is that Suzy, the pussy,
Oh,
who
shit.
doesn't want to go down the big slide at the park?
Here comes Jerk Max again.
What's up? It's just me and my football team, Max and the Chargers. I'm here to fucking take over the big slide park.
Listen, Max, we told you last week we don't want to deal with your bullshit anymore.
Yeah.
Why did you come back?
We asked you nicely.
Well, because as a growing boy and my testosterone flowing through my body.
But you're not a growing boy.
I'm
You're our age.
Max, you are also 8 years old. Please stop acting like you're older than us.
We're in the process of growing, and I'm growing.
Okay.
Yeah, but you're still the shortest one in the 3rd grade.
Because guys mature.
So can we get
slower.
back to the slide?
We're going to the slide, Greg. Don't worry, but we're going. We're going to go. Max, are you done?
I'm not done. Look at Suzy. You got asthma, Suzy? Everyone knows asthma's a fake disease.
Okay, but my doctor said I have asthma.
Suzy has. Would the doctor say Suzy has asthma if she didn't have asthma?
Yeah, it's minor, but it's asthma. And
Show him the
it.
inhaler. Show him the
I used to wear a
inhaler.
mask.
Prove it. You used to?
Yes.
And now we don't.
Would that hinder your asthma?
You know, I think now actually because I wore a mask, it gave me asthma.
Thank you.
Masks
Wait,
That's
give
what you're trying to
asthma?
say.
Masks can do a lot of things.
Okay, I used to wear a mask to get the pollen out of my face.
That
and
makes
nose.
more
There we go.
sense.
There we
Okay,
go.
okay.
Okay.
Now this makes more sense.
All right, does
Yeah.
that satisfy you, Max?
Yes.
Now get the fuck out of the way so we can go to the
Thank
slide
you.
now.
Okay.
Jesus
Okay, I'll
Christ.
leave you guys alone.
Finally.
So
What
we
a
probably should
douche.
hit this dumpster to get some cardboard for the slide.
Okay,
We don't need to hit
whatever
the
you
dumpster.
want
I
to
got
do,
some
Greg.
here, but if you want trash cardboard,
Okay. We should also write signs on these cardboard that
Yes.
say
I got a marker
Team
here.
Jacob.
Team Jacob. Fuck yes.
I just
Team
do whatever
Shark
Greg
Boy.
wants me to do, so
Team Shark Boy.
that sounds good.
Are we gonna go like protest these, or are we just gonna?
Nah, it's just for some flair so we can have a good time going
Here
on.
you go,
No,
guys.
Yo.
don't even try.
Yo,
Max.
is that fucking Suzy? The pussy that don't want to go through the slide?
Here comes Max's older brother.
My name
Jax.
is Jax, and I'm here to fucking brawl, bro.
Hey, Jax, we know you love beating kids and all, but
I'm in the fucking 5th grade, bro. Top dog. Yay. Who voted for Kanye? I can't because I'm 10.
you're very political for a 3rd grader.
Yeah.
But you know what? That's why we like you. That's why we like you, Jax.
Okay, so can I slide with you? Suzy, I'm sorry I called you a pussy. It's
okay.
Trying to impress my friends back there.
Yeah,
It's
Did it
okay.
work?
I'll let it go.
I don't know. They kind of left.
Jax.
Well, then you can hang out with us.
Jax, you can slide, but it's $5.
Oh, Greg's got it. Greg's
Yeah.
actually got the right idea.
And no bullshit.
Oh,
Straight up, just $5 even.
$5.
And no
per-
coins. It's just got to be cash, like dollar bills or a $5 bill.
And also, you gotta kiss me, right, Greg? He's gotta kiss me.
I don't like these rules,
I
dude.
agree with that. Yeah.
I'm older
As-
than you guys, and I can tell that this is messed up. I'm gonna get going.
Nice. We got rid of that dummy. Good job. Greg.
Yeah.
Free
Oh,
slides,
man.
and he still gave me $5. So
What a jerk. He didn't even kiss me.
Hey, but I feel kind of bad
About what?
about
Being our new.
Max. Yeah. I think we should like forgive him, but also just let him know he's, you know.
why do they keep calling you pussy?
Yeah, maybe we should
Where did
discuss
that come
that
from?
first. Why do you want to forgive somebody who
'Cause
kissed
this
you
is the
first?
first time I've heard that.
Suzy?
Oh, here comes
Suzy?
the 3rd brother,
The
Dax.
fucking pussy, Suzy?
Dax, leave us alone.
I'm in the 8th grade. Top dog at the middle school, bro.
Well,
You trying to hit the slide?
You know what? Yeah.
$10.
And you have to kiss me and Suzy.
My brother just said that it was $5 and I only have to kiss you.
Yeah, but you said you're older, right?
Yeah.
$10, man.
Yeah, and you said you kiss better, right?
Yeah, dog, because I've been in 7 minutes in heaven.
2 kisses then.
Okay.
yeah.
You know what? Make it $11.50.
Who the fuck carries quarters nowadays,
I don't
bro?
know, but you gotta make it happen if you want to hit the slide, which we still have to do too.
Okay.
We also want to slide. So, let's
But
get a move on.
you and your damn family keep coming and fucking shit up. So
Yeah, and it's weird because
either-
you want to hang out, but you're a jerk.
I'm
Yeah.
really
somehow.
just trying to find myself.
It's like all 3 of you are lashing out for help.
We don't have a good life at home. Our parents are.
Yeah, but same with us.
Yeah, that's why we're at a park at 2 in the morning on a Wednesday.
Your
and
parents.
I'm ready to hit this slide.
And I'm
Yes.
ready to hit this crack pipe.
And that tongue.
And that. Are we all gonna.
I think this is how orgies start, guys.
We're. All you guys are 8, and I'm. How old was I?
You're 13, you're in 8th grade.
I'm the 3rd brother, right?
yeah, you're Dax.
8 years old, and,
And-
8,
and-
10, then 13. Yeah, I'm in the 8th grade, bro. I can't be kissing 8-year-olds. Peace.
Wow. I guess we're never going to get kisses from that sweet, sweet
And
family.
we're never gonna slide down this fucking slide.
No,
either.
let's do the slide before one of those other weird brothers comes back.
What's after the slide though?
I think that
What do we?
we'll get there when we get there. Greg, you first. Whee.
There's nothing down here.
Oh, come on, Suzy.
There
Let's go
is
somewhere
something
else.
down there.
There's nothing down here.
Look harder.
Can you help? I'm stuck.
Well, hang on, we're coming down too.
How do I? How?
Woo.
Woo,
Well,
they're
we-
here now.
It is dark down here.
Yeah, there's nothing down here, and I told you. So how are we gonna get out of here?
Hey,
Use your
Dax.
iPhone flashlight.
Hey,
Hey, you have an iPhone, right?
My name is Drax.
Oh, is this a 4th brother?
This is the 4th brother. 17, just got my licenses.
Please
Drax.
help us. We're in a hole.
Drax from Guardians of the Galaxy.
That's right.
But at 17 years old.
Dave
Come on, use
Bautista.
your super strength to throw us out. Jump down here and throw us out of this hole.
All right,
Like
there you
literally
go.
take us out of this hole.
All right, I'm grabbing you guys now.
No,
Okay.
don't grab me there.
Wait,
I'm
I didn't consent to that.
I'm
Please,
sorry.
Kiss
That's
me
okay.
first.
Okay,
Feels good.
Actually, get out.
okay, I'm out of here because this is super weird.
Oh no.
Bye. All right, end scene.
All right.
Bye. I like that. I enjoyed that.
I enjoyed that. Thank you for supporting my weird characters.
Yeah. Thanks for playing along, guys.
Yeah.
You guys did an
It's like
excellent job.
The O'Doyle family,
It was. But
but everybody was named something Axe.
I was just gonna, the Axe
The
family.
last, I don't know why I thought Drax, and immediately I knew that was Dave Bautista from Guardians of the Galaxy.
It worked. Hey, it worked.
Yeah, it did work.
Don't cut
Yeah, it
yourself
took me a
short.
while to realize I'm Suzy too. I was like,
Yeah, because at first I thought I was gonna be Suzy, but then he started looking at you. He was like, "Okay, I'm just not gonna."
Someone was Suzy,
You're Suzy.
and you became Suzy.
It worked out.
It worked. You guys did a great job.
Yeah.
Nice.
No, thanks for doing improv with us. That's what this show is about.
We call it synprov sometimes.
Sule, I know this is like way different than the conversations that we've had in the past. Sulaiman and Sulaiman and I usually have the
Deep talk.
deepest conversations.
Like my birthday
Your birthday.
in Tahoe. Y'all were
Dude.
getting into it.
Yeah, so for Greg's birthday, we went, we got an Airbnb, and then Sule and I talked for maybe a good 30, 45 minutes about the most metaphysical stuff ever. I mean, like
what?
I don't know. Sulaiman is better at articulating this. How we are just how we're all just ideas. How our identities are just ideas. And
Yeah, sure.
what were you saying about that? Because it's actually very interesting how deep we got into that.
Yeah. Well, first I want to say that when I talk to you, I sense like a feeling of wanting to like, how should I explain this? It like when I talk to you, I feel like you're kind of curious or something, or like you want to.
Sure.
You're intrigued, and then not by me or not by anything in particular. It's just like there seems like to be an opportunity for me to present ideas to you, and that's why I think we have those deep convos, because I just feel like it's a opportunity.
Yeah.
Like when I talk to Greg about these same kinds of things, which I do oftentimes. Often we'll check on him too, like every once in a while. Like, am I talking too much? Like, do you even care about what I'm saying? And it's just like philosophy and ideas and stuff is like what I like to talk about sometimes, depending on it. Especially if I learn some new idea or a new sort of concept, like, and it speaks to me. I kind of try it out a lot with talking about it. And then maybe embody it if it fits, if it works, or it's almost like a medicine. Sometimes ideas can be like medicine or something. It gets you through
Therapeutic,
sort of concepts and ideas or times. Yeah. So like when we were talking at Greg's birthday, it was about, like that you are not your thoughts, like everything you think, as I'm speaking to you guys, and I have the sort of delay of like a chatter in my brain of what I'll say next, or how to position myself, or am I comfortable? It goes to my parents, for example, just came in my mind, or your glasses. And so that's sort of like what some call the monkey brain, or that chatter. What we were talking about is that that voice isn't you. And that's something that you experience in meditation when you sit still and you start to become aware of that constant chatter, your thoughts of, oh, I should do this, or oh, I'm not this, or oh, I'm this, or whatever it is. You're identifying with forms. You're identifying with the clothes you wear, the ideas that you've had in the past, even the things that, obviously, the things that other people have sort of identified you as, and and then your parents, one of the more stronger influences, or your friends, or things like that. All of those things are sort of, the concept we were talking about again. All those things are forms, and what I mean by forms is that they're just ideas. They're just sort of these things that aren't really who you are. Who you are is in the concept we're talking about, right?
Yeah.
The belief or the idea is that who you are is the observer of those things. And in meditation, you do observe those things. You sit still and you kind of notice your thoughts coming in, and you go, like. Interesting thought.
Yeah.
Where did that come from? And then I think the challenge with a lot of people, a lot of human beings, especially our generation, is that we are sort of not aware of this particular concept we're talking about. And that chatter becomes overwhelming, and then you have things like anxiety, and you have stress, and because
self-awareness.
Yeah. That's what it is. I think growing up, self-awareness has been more of an important theme in just like my everyday process. Especially like that, which is why I'm so curious, and why I wanted to transition into this talk, because I think us as creators, like we all have that kind of hurdle that we have to get over of like why are we doing this, right? Like, because I don't want to identify with you were talking about forms, and like how I don't want to just be, I don't want to define myself with just the thoughts that, how do I articulate this?
The thoughts that you have.
With the thoughts that I have, I'm like constantly, and it's natural, it's in human nature to try to assimilate. We want people to like us, right? And we care about what people think about us. But to like what extent are we going to let that take over? Because I don't want to be I want to constantly be the same version of myself all of the time and not worry about like, oh, is how I'm being palatable for this group of friends? Is how I'm being palatable for this group of friends? Why can't I just be me? And like it comes down to like as a creator, creating a podcast. Why do we do this podcast? Do we do it because it's fun for us and we want to make people laugh? Or
No,
do
we do it because we're making so much money on it.
Yeah, it gets us
It's
the
a
money.
cash cow, baby.
I like to take it back for a second, like a few steps back, because I think like the thing about this topic that I'm talking about in particular, this topic of awareness, is that it's like a place. It's like again, this is my humble opinion and interpretation of it and my experience of it is that it's a place. It's like a place you go to, and I think you just trailed off of it. If I can be frank, you know, the podcast itself, in a sense, is irrelevant when we're talking about what we're talking about. Well, let me clarify, because that sounded kind of like harsh. Like that sounded kind of
but I
rude.
don't think either of us took it that way.
Okay.
I'm sensitive and I'm crying on the inside.
Me too. But what I want to say is that, you know, this moment, for example, is what we're talking
It's
about.
far deeper than
This moment right now,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
This is what I'm talking about. This is a place where silence or pausing in between your thoughts is like rude. It's rude. We're on a
It's tough.
podcast.
Yeah.
It's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough. And like taking space in between my talking. This is what I'm talking about. So now, that being said, like I think, you know, something that, for example, like somebody who I really like got into when I moved to California is Ram Dass. I found a random Ram Dass book. It's called Be Here Now. And when I found this book, it was one of like my pinnacle, like we used the word pillar earlier. It's like one of my pillars kind of, because it just had a great effect on me. And Be Here Now is just about, to put it simply, it's just about sort of becoming aware of your present moment. So,
Well, I think Ram Dass is really into.
You familiar?
I am, and
Good.
he's very into not just living into the moment, but understanding the power of the moment. That I think a lot of people lose in the
chatter,
the distortion of life, the distractions that people have, and I think one of the most important tenets or pillars that Ram Dass tells and teaches us is things that, like, you know, moments are set in place for reasons. Moments are set in action for so many different things that are out of control, and like having it there and understanding it, or not just even understanding, but being aware of it is the key to
awareness.
Is the key.
Let's get into it
Yeah.
a little bit since
I like
we're
to.
here.
Yeah.
All right. So like I'm so glad that you know about Ram Dass, because it's like it's just like it makes it easier to understand, you know, to kind of talk about it. But yes, absolutely. You know, like the sort of, it's all about it. Well, I try to be careful about saying it's all about, you know, it's a generalization.
Sure.
But awareness is what really we're talking about right now. It's just sort of, you know, when you're talking about, for example, the person you want to be. You were saying that earlier. I said that you went off trail. What I meant was like you start talking about like who you want to be and like trying to maintain who you want to be and all that kind of stuff. Though, to me, in my opinion, I attribute those thoughts, I would categorize those thoughts as chatter.
Yeah.
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 Right? Because it's like we can all be in this place that I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And that place is very quiet. And it's just sort of not how we tend to be in society. Mm-hmm. And I think that because of that, we have a lot of dysfunction, you know? And what's happening is that we're identifying with form. That could be our clothes, our car, our job, our ideas of ourselves, our ideas that other people have that we maybe kind of like and we want to adopt. But all of those things don't actually define who you are, is the point I was trying to make. The convo we were having was about recognizing that those things truly don't make you, you know, who you are. When you, at least when you meditate, it seems to be that your consciousness is actually the observer of all of those things, all of those fleeting things, those temporary things, which is our fate. You know, ultimately, all we really can experience in life is our experience.
Definitely.
You know, and like that just makes me think of the duo. Really, we can bring it back to that.
No, that's a great.
Because we're here with the
full
duo
circle.
with Greg, my drummer, and so you know, duality is like a really important concept of like the name, the reason that part came in our band name, for example. I thought you might maybe ask if you guys were good interviewers, but apparently you don't. No, I'm just
We don't
playing.
interview
No, I'm
very
just playing.
often.
No, I'm just
Fucked
playing.
up.
No, I'm
We
just
don't
playing.
interview
I'm just
often.
playing. No, I'm just playing. I'm totally playing.
Damn,
but,
dude. That's it
no,
for
no, no.
No.
Unnatural
in.
Duo Exp.
No, but tell us what.
Yeah, so you know we're talking about like awareness and stuff like that, and so duality is it's actually a great segue because when you experience meditation and you read up on like like as I'm talking about Eastern sort of ideas, and I want to stress that any idea is an idea. It's a form. It's the same exact things that I'm saying that you shouldn't identify yourself with because they don't define you. But these ideas sort of make meaning of life.
Sure.
And anyway, I don't really want to go there because I don't know what that. I don't know. There's like sort of gap that human beings want to fill, which is like a meaning of life, I think.
Sure.
So maybe it's doing that for me. But duality is like, from what I understand is like in your deepest meditation, duality is what you eventually see, which is that you see that there's this and there's that. There's me and there's Christian. There's you and there's Greg. And we sort of, it's all complementary. And there's another saying that's like all truths are paradoxical, meaning like, police create hippies, for example. Right? Like hippies have to exist for us to feel the way we do about police.
Sure.
Assuming we all feel the same way but we do about police. So the duality concept is almost like as far, and again, this is just an idea, maybe not my true feeling, but it's almost like duality is like the furthest we can go in terms of our human intellect.
Yeah.
Because you get to this point where you see that these opposites create each other and they need each other. And this comes from Taoist teaching too. Like if you read the Tao Te Ching, which is like old, from what I understand, I think this is what we were talking about on Greg's birthday too, which is like, it's older than the religions we know, Christianity and Islam, etc. They came to this conclusion that like, there's this and there's that. And every time you find truth, you sort of, there's a balance. It's the yin yang concept.
Of course.
It's a huge part of like the duo concept. It's really what I love most about, like, I guess maybe not what I love most, but it's a really important pillar. It's a pillar of our band, the duality concept. And I have to say, while we're here, that my greatest influence for the duo concept is the White Stripes. It's Jack
Fuck
White.
yeah.
I told you guys earlier that I grew up playing a kind of key like piano like instrument, but when I heard the White Stripes Seven Nation Army when I was a teenager, that was what made me start playing the guitar. And so I have to just give the praise where it's due. The duo concept, even the aesthetic, the image of a drummer and a guitarist doing vocals is pretty much from Jack White. And then
Yeah, Jack White's awesome.
And then while I'm there with influences, I'll say that Jimi Hendrix is also a huge influence of mine. And I think of Greg as my Mitch Mitchell because a lot of people, even though I love Jimmy so much and as much as I do, a lot of people when I play shows, they do validate it. They say, "Oh, you sound like Jimmy," without me saying anything about Jimmy.
You could see it, like in your performance. You've definitely have been influenced by him, and it's
100%. There's no doubt about it. My sister gave me a Jimi Hendrix CD around the time I first started playing guitar, and it was a big influence for me. But anyway, my point is that well, I was talking about duality, but even with Jimmy, when I see Jimmy and Mitch Mitchell, something fires off in my mind. It makes me think of Greg and I because it's just that concept of having two. It's just, I don't know. I'm very passionate about that idea.
Yeah.
The split. If I may, and I'll definitely let you guys talk. I'm going on a little rant here, but I want to say also that a huge part of why the duo concept is important to me is because through this awareness and meditation we're talking about, you become, let me be careful about what I say here. I don't want to sound like I know everything, but you start to you start to experience through feelings that your sense of self isn't necessarily accurate. It's not necessarily who you are. These things we're talking about, your chatter and all that, isn't what defines you. And as a musician or somebody, for me, for example, who's wanted to be signed for a long time, I grew up in bands, playing in bands, getting signed was ultimately the goal.
Of course.
And the popularity that comes with that, and the social media and all that stuff, through these new ideas that, you know, have been developing for a long time, really, these ideas of like sort of philosophy and these Eastern teachings, awareness, etc., Western teachings too. All of that has brought me to this point where a lot of my energy goes towards, it's like splitting. It's like splitting an atom, because it's not about me. You know, this is just something I feel. You know, I can do quite a lot, and I know, and Greg can too. Greg can do quite a lot musically. But, you know, like when it comes to like being a solo artist, for example, this is something that, you know, makes me really proud of having this band and having Greg and doing the duo concept, is I can really put that energy into this thing that's more than just me.
Yeah, definitely.
And the fact that I have him, for example, is very meaningful because he meets all my marks, you know, as a musician, as a friend too, on a deeper level.
Definitely.
So, you know, kind of tying it all together, you know, these talks we've had about awareness and all that. This is how I've incorporated it into my, you know, how I just want to have an experience as a musician.
Sure. Yeah.
You know, for me, it's about having this, for example, right now, I'm really focused on just having this band with Greg. You know, I'm very grateful to have him.
I love how deep the meaning of your band really goes into.
For
Even
sure.
like, you bring up duality, and I see that in your guys' logo, right? It's like the isosceles triangles that are pinned against each other.
Yeah, it's a split diamond.
A split diamond, but a
You're wearing it on your
diamond
shirt.
altogether, right?
Yeah.
And that's cool. Even like you said, there's something that goes off in your mind when you think of your guys' duality. There's something about just having two people. There's something beautiful about
balance.
that. Even with like, let's say like the
Balance.
cover album of your guys' Twin Flame Summer Pack.
Yeah.
What a dope fucking album. Like, it doesn't really even
Thank
say
you.
much. It's just kind of like you guys in nature. You're holding the drum head.
Yes.
You got your guitar.
He's listening to his drum like it's like
Yeah.
a phone.
Exactly.
His snare.
There's like the contrast of you're squatting in it, right?
Yeah, I'm kneeling down. I got two guitars. Like it's like almost like a gun concept type
Yeah.
thing. But it's the duality, you know, the twin. And this was totally like just happened. Yeah. We just, you know, the studio we recorded at had a really nice Stratocaster. I love Stratocasters. Jimi
Shout out
Hendrix played
Aiden
them.
Nelson.
Shout out Aiden Nelson, our engineer, and for that record. And so yeah, and then our friend Tayron Porter,
Shout out Tay.
he took the picture on a manual camera.
Wow.
In San Rafael where we recorded the album. It's a home
Dope ass
studio.
house.
It was all impromptu.
Yeah.
You know.
Those are
So
the best. Those are the best moments, I think,
best.
when you're not expecting it. One of the
Yeah.
things that I hit on for duality that you kept saying was this. For me, I have this idea of like order and chaos, right? It comes back to that yin yang idea, and I think for me and Christian, we've always talked about how what makes our partnership so successful is this idea that we are so polar opposites. Yet at the end of the day, there's a little bit of him and me, and there's a little bit of me and him. Definitely now.
You're
And
gross.
no, but at the end of the day,
I'm
like,
out.
he understands why I get to my logical points, and I understand how he gets to his logical points. We may not agree with it or we may not like it, but yet we can always understand how that person got to that point.
Yeah.
And I think that understanding helps us have this unspoken bond, this connection.
Can you start again? What did you say in the beginning, if you can remember? Because I forget. But you said something.
I said it's
Order and chaos?
Order
and chaos,
Order
yeah.
in chaos.
So this is what we. Go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say something about what you said in regards to that. Is like it's like when we write music.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because you were saying how. Repeat what you were saying again.
That it's like an unspoken bond that we can
Yeah.
kind of just feel where he's going and he understands
Yeah,
why
but
I'm
there's like kind of this like you have your traits and Christian
different.
has his traits, right? It's like this communication, and it's the
different.
same thing when we write music, where like Sule might have like this melodic idea, but really the process of writing music. Are you cool if I share this?
Sure.
No, sharing the secret sauce. It's like, all right, Greg, play a drum beat.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then he just kind of adds to it?
Yeah,
or-
and then we just build off of that. So I'll just
Wow.
be like running
I
through.
put the pressure on. Yeah.
yeah,
a
I'll
little
just
bit
be
in that
running through
regard.
like different things, or maybe he has like
'Cause I don't know what to do.
maybe he has a concept that he wants me to follow.
That's awesome.
Who like play me a loop.
The rhythm.
Yeah, or like what was that one loop that you made where I was like, nah, this shit sounds off. Like, but
Which one?
it's like there's like some loop that you
Oh.
like don't get
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
get.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like
yeah.
some weird.
That's
loop.
exactly what it was too.
Oh yeah, look at that. But you know what I'm saying? Like how he's talking about like you might disagree on something, but at the end of the day, you understand like
How
where
we
it's-
got to that
Yeah,
point.
how we got to that point.
Yeah,
Does that
I
make
think
sense?
I think I get what you're
Yeah.
saying. Yeah, like for. All right, hold on. I want to touch on what you said though, because you said something about
Order and
chaos and
chaos.
order. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So like chaordia.
Chaordia.
Yeah. So this is like a word that defines this concept of chaos and order. Like
Yeah.
our universe is chaos and order.
Yeah.
It's chaos, but it's like
But yet
order.
somehow it falls into place.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
it certainly does. Yeah, like there's this you can Google this. It's like a GIF of or a GIF of
GIF.
I'm not judging.
Make that a snippet. Let's see what.
I usually say that word
say.
really fast so no one catches it.
Yeah.
Let me show you this GIF. Let me show you this. Let me show you this
Anyway,
GIF.
shut up, guys. Shut up.
All right, so you take two planets like I think from Earth's perspective, such
Uh-huh.
as Mars and whatever.
Probably
And-
Venus.
Sure, good. And then you watch or sort of they map out the orbital patterns.
Uh-huh.
From Earth's perspective, and it's like a perfect mandala. It's just beautiful,
Wow.
like symmetrical flower, type stuff. So this is like an example of chaordia. We think of space as this sort of chaotic space.
Yeah.
And but there's order, or like you would think of like sometimes if you contemplate how fucked up the world is, it's overwhelming. But then there's sort of order to it. It's working.
Yeah.
Um,
Everything
and-
has a reason.
it's duality.
Yes.
It's literally there's this and there's that. When we talk, just to jump back to awareness, though, I think awareness is about recognizing that and then
Agreed.
being in that state of mind, that place where you see there's this and there's that. And while we're at it, like there's Democrat, there's Republican. You have to be able to kind of operate or sort of just tap into a place of observing these. And I think for probably a lot of people, I think for probably a lot of people, they understand this concept, so I'm explaining it like it's profound. But it is profound for me. I'm passionate about it. It's very exciting to sort of feel this understanding.
Totally. I think, unfortunately, there's a lot of people who don't look
Yeah.
at both sides. There's a lot of people who don't understand duality.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
At the end of the day, everything needs to be black and white, and white is good, black is bad, and this is how life is. This is all I know, and this is how it's going to be.
They're
And-
married to their ideas because they identify with them.
Yeah.
And
It's become their life.
yeah, and then letting go of the idea or it being refuted by someone else it becomes a life or death situation.
Yeah. You're
literally, because
challenging-
those are their pillars of their their being upright. And if they're gone, if I can't be a Redskins fan, it's the best example I can think of because it's something I used to be. I was like all about it, right? But
yeah.
then you think about it, it's like those things don't define you. They're
Yeah.
very kind of fallible. But
Isn't it the Washington team now?
It's the Washington
Yeah.
But
football
they had to
team.
change it, yeah.
Washington football team, get it right now.
but I want to say on the topic of
Go Skins.
how we write music, it's definitely
Sometimes annoying.
a very annoying.
Interesting.
Well, sometimes I got
Like
that
annoying
face.
with each other.
You'd be like, well, no, sometimes we know, like, we're just getting it, like, new music. We'll just be like, all right, let's just fucking do it. Like,
Well, all right, so let me give you some context. You were talking about music theory earlier, right?
Yeah.
And like understanding music. So I don't read music.
Huh.
I can't read a sing. I mean,
That's a
I
shock.
could. I can like.
Interesting.
gave
yeah,
Bird-
we're getting on it, though. I was showing you, so we
I know
got you.
Ernie gave Bert Dead Fish, and I know FACE. I can read a staff.
Every good boy.
I got him reading some Blue Devils
But then,
warm-up music.
But then that's the other thing.
Really?
That's the other thing, though. Like drum music is different. It's
For sure.
it's-
There's not a lot of,
it's time, right? And then there's so I used to play trumpet. I read music in school for trumpet. But when we actually come to a place of writing, there's a lot of. I would love to talk about it. I really would like for you guys to position questions so that I can go into it. But
I kind
know-
of like the rants, to be 100%
Okay.
honest.
Yeah.
yeah, but like this is.
If
I
Kanye
guess
could rant for 3 hours, you could rant for like 15 minutes, dude.
the reason I like talking about it is because it's the same. It's just as important as like our live performance. To
Yeah.
me, our live performance is this information is just as important. Is knowing sort of how we write. It's what we like about what we do.
Yeah.
So this is what's important to us, and this is what we find important. So hopefully other the ideas like maybe others will find that important too.
When you guys are recording music, do you guys ever get to a point where it doesn't feel right, and then do you try to fix it so it feels right, or do you abandon this idea and start a new one?
Well, okay, so with recording or like writing music?
Let's say with writing music, because I assume by recording you've already played
All right,
those
so
songs.
let me
a few
just
times.
address recording real quick. Recording, we've only done 2 projects so far. We've done our first
Okay.
project was a live album at Fantasy Studios, and I'll give you a quick answer so you can go into writing. But the quick answer for Fantasy Studios, the album is called Death of a Poor Boy.
R.I.P.
RIP. We did that at Fantasy Studios again, and we recorded that live, meaning Greg was actually playing, I was actually playing and singing, and it was just record, right? We did that, and then each of those songs, there's 3 songs on that record. We did over, I'd say 20 takes for each song, and we just chose whichever one where we felt like we were in the pocket all the way through, or good enough, basically.
Definitely,
We didn't fuck up at some point, or, he didn't dislike what he did, or I didn't dislike what I did at any point, so it was good.
But that meant it had to line up for both of us. Like we
Yeah,
both had to have good.
Were there versions that you
runs.
liked that you didn't like, and then
I think we mixed. There were like a couple things, like maybe some fills or like
Yeah.
different parts where we mixed like different takes. But for the most part, yeah, it was like
Our engineer, Cody Hamilton,
shouts out Cody Hamilton.
who ran the session, he did a good job at limiting our exposure to what we did. We did over, let's say, for example, 35 takes of
Sure.
the same song. And, he would refine it to like maybe 3 songs, 3 takes. He'd be like, okay, well, these are the
best
good ones.
That's good.
And we
That's
just
good.
sort of chose from that. And that's the mindset we had, because we have enough experience where we know like overthinking in the studio is bad
wasted
vibes.
energy.
It's kind of a cancer, really, in the
Yeah. For
sure,
studio.
for sure.
It's that spontaneous in the moment thing we're talking about that you want to capture. So the longer you're doing it, or the more you're trying to manipulate the experience, the more difficult it becomes. Honestly, really, the first take of any of our, unless we totally fucked up, the first take was probably the best.
Yeah,
interesting.
But we just had to find this place where we felt good about
yeah.
on both
Like
ends.
locked in almost. You're
Locked in.
Yeah, yeah.
And then, so anyway, to finish up on the context,
Yeah.
the second record we did was only 2 tracks. So we've really only put out 5 recorded songs total. So when you ask a question about our recording process, it's hard to address because we personally do have quite a lot of recording experience, but as a band, we don't have much.
Still fairly new.
We're doing the new album, so this is our next phase. But in terms of writing, definitely like Greg, maybe. So what was your original question about writing? It was sort of about
Like the feeling. If it's not feeling right, do you
Right.
abandon the idea, or
Yeah,
do you
there's
try to
plenty
make
on
it
that.
right? Do you try to fix it?
Yeah,
'Cause-
yeah, for sure.
I was gonna say, because like for us, we've had episodes where like halfway through we're like, yeah, this isn't good, and so we just kind of like.
We've stopped it right there.
But then we've had episodes where like we record 6 Underground. We've recorded that at least 3 or 4 times, and every single time we're like, this isn't good.
It's a
This
bad
isn't
episode.
good.
Yeah.
So lately, what we do right now with the new album is that we, and it's sort of like a unspoken agreement, but we at first were basically scheduling our rehearsals to be like quick fire. We both work, so we'll set an hour or an hour and a half or 2 to just see what we can do.
Sure.
And in that time we try to, and then we have it could be just like a 15 second clip of Greg drumming
Oh yeah.
that we I want to turn into like something, or it could be like a little something I wrote
Little
real
ditty,
quick.
yeah.
We just quick fire them, a couple hours, 2-3 times a week. We just kind of knock out through all the little concepts and see how we can build it in the moment.
Interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting. It's
It is.
kind of how we've been writing this one.
Well, hold on real quick too, because I want to mention something about that with the recording too, because we got a bunch of how long we've been playing? Like 3 years, almost 3 years now.
Yeah, something like that.
So
2 to 3 years.
Yeah, when we first started playing, like the way we would do it is just voice memo, like capture the sound. But then sometimes there'd just be times where like we're just jamming, right? It's not like any of the songs that we were making, but we were just playing around.
Having a feel.
Yeah, and then like Sule will play me back. He'd be like, "Oh yeah, this part," and then like when I listen to it, it's like a part where I'm just like completely improvising, like completely just like maybe even going crazy on the kit, like.
There'll be
there's-
like something that he can't do immediately again.
I'm like, yo, I gotta listen to that a couple times because that's just like I pulled that out of my ass when I was
I
playing.
did it. I don't know how I did it, but yeah.
So, and eventually we get to it, but like, I referenced that one beat that I was like, goom, goom, cat, goom, goom, cat, goom, goom.
Yeah, the loop.
Yeah, and it's like similar to that where like he'll come to me with like, maybe something that he heard and something that he created. He's like, all right, like, yeah, this is like this is the idea. And like going back to like the music theory part that's where it's like a little challenging for me, and not that it's bad. I actually like the challenge, and that's why I feel our group has worked so well, is because I like that challenge and like trying to figure out like, okay, well, what is he looking for? Like what's the end goal here?
Yeah. And for me, it's like, how can I get him to like it?
Yeah.
Because I come, you know, like earlier, when we were talking
He's your
about
hardest
like,
critic?
yeah, well, sort of, you know, like you got to understand, like for me, this is a new place for me too. So like, you know, when you're getting all that praise about how you're a good singer, that was my whole fucking life until I got here. You know, when I got here to the Bay Area 3-4 years ago, nobody knew that I was a musician, and I had this opportunity to just basically present myself as whatever, right? And that being said, like, you know, with all this awareness and mindfulness we're talking about, like, that was also part of the lesson, but it's a particular lesson that I'm like channeling through Greg alone, you know, because I keep a small circle, if I can be frank. So through Greg, and I share with Greg my own insecurities about how I define myself as a musician. And sometimes it's like coming with the riffs or whatever I'm coming up with, there is this level of like, I want him to like it, because the duo concept, of course, there needs to be balance there. He's got to like it for us to play it.
Of course.
Period.
At the base, he should at least enjoy.
Absolutely. Well, that's the whole thing. Like,
well, you know, and to be clear, like we've definitely had times where I'm like, this is whack.
For sure.
yeah,
Like, I'm
and
like,
I remember
no.
every single thing he thinks is whack.
You
and
remember?
because I still want to use it.
Yeah.
He'll probably run it by me. He'll probably run it by me again.
See if you
He'll be
like
like,
it
yo,
this
what you
time.
thinking about this?
And like
I'm
this
like,
time,
wait,
you're
I think I heard
love-
this before.
I love it now. It's great.
Like,
Yeah.
whoa, what is
but that
this?
happens sometimes too.
Yeah.
It grows, and that's part of
Yeah,
our
that has
process
happened.
too. That's part of our process too. Is like just being patient with the process I have, and in his process too. Like, you know, I watch him, you know, do what he does, but it's making me smile because it's just making me think about how grateful I am for Greg. I think like you know, on the mic or just the opportunity, any opportunity I have to tell Greg that I'm grateful for him, I have to, because, you know, just how I like to create music and how I love to create music is highly dependent on it seems to be that how I like to create music is highly dependent on compatibility with a drummer.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Rhythm is like really important to me, and I like to play drums myself. Just like you feel like you're not like a singer, for example, or whatever in the past. I feel that way about drumming. Although I do play drums, I don't feel like a drummer,
Wouldn't call yourself.
especially next to him.
It's hard to call yourself a drummer next to Greg, though. in all
But yeah,
fairness.
it's really important. And the reason it's important, if I can say, is that it comes to there's a sort of concept of Eastern music where you have the harmonium, which I talked about earlier, my father's instrument, and the instrument of many Eastern musicians, is often accompanied by just a tabla drum.
Tabla, give me some tabla.
And tabla drum is off time. It's all kinds of different rhythmic things. This concept of rhythm and melody is older than old.
For sure.
And so just going back to the duality concept, you talk about our communication on stage. That's just musicians' communication. Every musician has that.
Yeah.
But when you have a band and you have sheet music in front of you, then you just read what you got to play. But when it's just me and Greg, no sheet music, and every single time we play a song, it's different. You know, it's slightly different tempo. Maybe, you know, we do a fill differently.
Sure.
And
It's
all that,
always different, honestly.
yeah,
it's never gonna be
it
the
all
same.
is always different. And
Well, and like also we could talk about the loop, which we're not doing as much right now. But yeah, we're both like burping in these mics because he's LaCroix.
See
But,
these little crocs that you fucking...
But yeah, like the looping,
colas.
like, you know, we have some of our songs have loops, like just like a loop that Sule will set,
Yeah.
and we build off of that. But that's like something in itself, being able to one set the loop in tempo, but then two, me be able to play along with the loop while extra stuff is being played over it. So like
adding and
there's-
using it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
There's a
so
lot of stuff going on.
So the big challenge with like looping, for example, so if for those of you who don't know what we're talking about, like looping is like when you basically recording live on stage in front of somebody, you're recording music and then you're setting a loop so that what you recorded just continues to repeat, and then you can layer and build off of it. And so we do that live, which is just another aspect of the vulnerability of
sure.
being a duo. And again,
It's like a magic trick.
Yeah, and I want to stress just in this moment that this, that we're not the founders of this concept. There's plenty of duos.
Absolutely.
But
yeah.
I'll also like to say in this moment that
You're the best.
You're better than the rest.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Yeah,
We'll
we're
say
pretty
it.
good at
you
it,
guys
though.
are the duo.
This is the platform to challenge other
pretty,
duos.
We're pretty good at it. I mean,
We're looking
yeah.
for hot takes here, guys, and that's one of them. That's the
honestly,
hottest.
and just to throw more in there, we're not doing it with a click for all our good musician friends. Like no metronome. Like this is literally like Sule setting. You
got it.
And there's some songs where I don't even play in the beginning with him, so it's really
He's setting it.
up to him to
Wow.
make sure like the loop is set. And honestly, like just to throw some more shade in there, not shade, but like to shed some more light. There would be times where like you
The
set
exact
loops. Yeah, right. There'd be times where you set loops that's like it'll be like 8 bars, but then maybe like the next time it's a 16 bar loop, or maybe next time it's a 12 bar loop. Like
That makes it so exciting, though. With the difficulties that comes with, since it might be a new experience every single time you guys perform it live, there's something rewarding about that new challenge every single time, right? Like,
yes, 100%. Like when we practice, sometimes it really hits.
Yeah.
And it's because we were able to accomplish. We were able to play what we wanted to play without in a flow state. It's the flow state. It really,
Agreed.
yeah. That's, I mean,
The flow state, and that's something me and Christian we talk about when we used to do improv in front of people. We used to always talk about how, he could tell where I'm taking a scene or where I'm taking a joke even before we've even set up any kind of basis of it.
Yeah.
He can see where.
it's like telepathy.
Yeah, and he knows my humor. He knows like where my brain is going in certain ways, and just like I know where Christian's is going in some senses. And it's this this calmness in the chaos, where like it's so much happening at once, yet we understand the little things that he's doing.
and there's something beautiful about that. And I've told him many times while we're telling our
Say
partners
less.
here that we're so appreciative of them. I appreciate
which
you.
also,
a lot.
yeah, man, I really appreciate you. So
I
much,
appreciate you too,
Yeah, I
Christian,
appreciate
and
you.
Sulaiman, I appreciate you too.
Hey, Greg,
man.
I appreciate
and Greg,
you.
I appreciate you.
Wait, they
also.
just did a thing with their hands. We have to do it too.
Duo.
It's like there we go. Ours vibrate, but no. What it is with doing comedy with you for more than a decade now, with some
yeah,
pockets of
definitely, for
absence
sure.
because that's life. We've learned to do comedy set up and punchline, and you can't always make like a winky face like this is
Yeah.
where you should make that
Remember?
joke, Alex. But like you could just in comedy always elevate, right? And so that's definitely his like language. He always loves to elevate, and I know. And or he likes to do the opposite joke, like what is everyone else not thinking?
Yeah,
And that's something that you have to learn about each other. And he knows that my contrast is like the straight man.
Yeah.
the straight man. And if he's the wacky one, okay, I know to be the person that's his contrast, right? Right? I'm supposed to be the Mark Wahlberg to the Will Ferrell in The Other Guys, right? The guy that's saying
That's
you're
both.
ridiculous, right? You need that juxtaposition.
Yeah, the juxtaposition goes back to the duality concept.
Yes.
It's exactly
I just want
it.
to say, like, I actually didn't realize that you guys think of that you guys are really just even using the concept of comedy as a means of communication.
for sure.
To be frank, I didn't know
Exactly.
that. And me and Greg love comedy.
Yeah,
Greg and I'm pretty sure,
Yeah.
like stand-up comedy and all the stand-up comics of our time, for example, in the past are, for me, inspirations and heroes of mine. And like this is a quote from Dave Chappelle, which is
I was just about to say the same thing.
Yeah.
Oh, they know
Who's gonna get it right?
all
All comedians are musicians, and every musician thinks they're funny.
This is
Exactly.
That's
we've had
Wow.
talks like this before. Exactly.
our people,
And I
baby.
think-
our
Yo,
Yo,
people.
I'm funny though. Okay.
You're a
you are
funny
very
guy.
funny.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
are very funny.
there's a respect and love I have for comedy, and I think it's a high art form. I told somebody recently that said, "Oh, I don't think you should like rate," and we talked about it earlier.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
it's not that big a deal. It's just sort of like the respect level of, comedy in general. All right, well, I'd like to like maybe go into like quick story. I was thinking about one time I was at Lake Merritt in Oakland, and I was laying down, and there was like a mom and then her daughter and a baby daughter, and they were just sort of like I was just like laying down and looking at the sky and just relaxing, but I was listening. And the mom was like calling her daughter baby. She was a baby, and the baby was like, mama,
Baby, had to bust down, baby.
baby,
Sorry, I had to.
baby.
Had to bust down, baby. Okay. Sorry. Listening to a mom with her lovely little baby,
Baby.
and she's saying baby.
What were we talking about before that?
You were saying how you're looking up at the sky.
No,
like-
before
like
that.
mirror.
You wanted to go into a story.
Duality, our comedy.
Comedy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much. So I just
Come
had
on,
this
guys.
experience of like listening to the baby and the mom interact with each other rather, but just calling each other baby and mama, which I found profound when I was in that sort of state of mind I was in. So, oh, baby, mama. And it was sort of like, it was like sad and beautiful. It was like baby,
Yeah.
mama, right? There's this dialogue of like, you know,
It's poetry in such
was poetry.
simple words.
exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
And and the baby, so the daughter was expressing herself in like a couple ways, and I found that to be profound as well. She was just going, ah, she was just screaming, or she was like kind of crying, like ah, she was worried, like oh mama,
Yeah.
blah blah, or she was like laughing from her belly,
Yeah.
and it made me think about like the.
You were watching this mom and daughter.
I wasn't
for a
watching, I was
long time.
listening.
Oh, listen. Okay.
I was watching here and there, but
Pay
I was
attention,
listening
Christian.
mostly. She was a cutie, so I was watching a little bit.
The baby, right?
The baby. But anyways, my point is that like it one of the thoughts I had after that was, or during that was like these forms of expression that we have as human beings are like, we have a lot of ways to express ourselves, but what I was feeling is like these are very primal kind of core feelings. It's sort of like you're alive, you're conscious. We come back to awareness. We're here right now. All four of us are here. We're turned on. It's like a TV is just on. We're here. And there's only so many ways to react to that. You know, let's forget about the food, whether we're hungry, where we work, who our friends are, just alive. You're alive. Boom. How do you react to that it's like you're either crying or you're screaming at the top of your lungs
Yep. Or you're laughing.
or you're laughing.
Yes, sir.
Or maybe there's a few other ones, but that's the ones that I sort of like, I felt from that baby. And it's like, because, you know, just to be alive alone, these aren't my words. These are mentor, my uncle. My uncle told me this. He says, the absurdity of life is a phrase he uses, and it makes a lot of sense to me. It's like to just even be regarded, to just be alive. It's sort of, there's a sort of an absurdity to that. And you can react to it in so many ways. And one of them is just, it's so funny, which sort of connects to my passion and love for comedy and respect for comedy, because it seems to be a core expression or exp to our life. And then or it's anger and rage and sort of just this uncertainty expression. It's maybe that, which I can also connect to. It's a big part of why our sound is so big and aggressive at times.
Sure.
Or it's like you're crying, you know, which is like, you know, obviously it's taboo and it's not politically correct, just like we were talking about earlier, which is like being silent or having time in between your thoughts, which we haven't been doing this whole time. But it's that sort of sadness of the that everything is fleeting, or that everything is temporary, or that the only certainty is our death. And there's sort of sadness to that, you know. And so I guess my point is that you know, like that experience I had sort of, I don't remember what our original context or our original conversation was, but I hope you get what I'm saying. It's just like these kind of core feelings are like very important to me personally. I kind of lost my train of thought, but they definitely bring these ideas into my band too. Like crying, for example, is really important to me. Comedy is really important to me. Laughing is really important to me. And also like just, I don't want to call it rage or anger. Let's call it energy, like life force energy that can be put into music, you know, whether it's, you know, or exercise or all these other things that you can use that energy for. Yeah. I think a lot of people call it anger or rage, but there's a lot of
I mean, man, duality though.
Yeah. A lot of
Yeah, I think.
What do you mean?
Like, you can be happy, but you gotta be angry too. You're gonna have those ups and downs, you know.
Yeah, what I got from that was,
100%.
there's always a balancing act of well, yes, crying has its pros and cons. Laughing also has its pros and cons, and I think it to me, you were talking in that in this metaphorical way. Well, I was trying to say like in an allegorical way where you're kind of like using it to mean something else. I saw it as kind of like that idea of like the smiling face and the crying face, the tragedy and the comedy.
Exactly. I was just gonna say, in theater,
Yeah,
right?
that's how everything is. Everything's either a drama or it's a comedy or some sort of like variation of those. But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, you can kind of boil it down to just what it is and
Duality.
and it's
There's
duality.
this, there's that.
And
Yeah,
it's the duality.
There's you guys really bring out the art in music being an art form. People can call themselves bands, a singer, a musician, and not really know the kind of impact that it can have emotionally or symbolically, right? You it seems that you guys have had talks about like the self-awareness and your guys' band's identity and what it means, because it is an important platform, right? Highly influential, not only or to a lot of people that consume it, but also it's something that you're producing, and it means so much more that you believe in it strongly, and that that, oh, this is not just the name of our band, because the name means so much more than meets the eye.
Well, I'd like to say that, a lot of these like sort of, extra philosophical ideas and stuff come from a place of me trying to make meaning of everything we're doing. Like,
Yeah, of course.
yeah, for me, playing in bands and stuff is something I've done for a while, and it is for Greg too. I mean, Greg's been a musician for a long time, so when you are where we're at as musicians, which to define that is basically we've been playing for over 10 years. Our instruments, we love music, we love to make music, and we want to continue to make music. As far as we understand, music is something that will probably stick with us for the rest of our life. So that's where we're at.
Yeah.
As working human beings, and anyway, so as where we're at as musicians, getting together and playing music is not really something that's like that hard or that how should I say, like,
It's accessible to a lot of people.
it's easy. Yeah, it was
But I don't
exciting
think
when we were
they can do
younger,
it.
like, oh, fucking jam, baby. But actually jamming is kind of a drag sometimes, because you want to get, sometimes you kind of want to just get things done. Jamming is, sometimes musicians will holler at us and to say, hey, yo, like, you're a musician, and they're still in that jam place where they're like, you want to jam? And you're like, not really, because, like, we kind of know what we want to do. We want to, we have a sound and everything.
Yeah,
So
I'm not trying to mess
They're
around.
like saying, hey, Timmy, come
Not-
out and play. Let's play.
I want to clarify, like,
You're talking about the neighbor from down the street.
exactly. Like, we were talking about our friend Carlos earlier, who's like very seasoned and
Yes,
and,
yes.
and beautiful musician. He's very
Yes,
good.
he is.
We'd love to jam with Carlos, for example, because he's actually going to elevate us too, and we'll learn from him too. But anyways, that being said, like, these concepts, I just wanted to sort of like normalize what you said in terms of like the concept, it being so deep. These are things that I talked to Greg about to sort of make meaning of the logo I present to him, or the reason I want to take an approach rhythmically or something in a song. Like, I'll say, oh, because it represents like this sort of aspect that no one's doing or something. And then you sort of make meaning of it. And then he has his versions of that too. Like, hey, we should do blah, 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 because blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Oh, I get that. Yeah.
And it only matters like when you guys ask about it. And I think in it, well, hold on, let me rephrase that. It matters,
course.
but it becomes
Relevant.
apparent when you guys notice it.
Yeah.
And I think personally, like, that's kind of what, for me as a band and having, being a musician, we're on a podcast, we want to promote our music, for example, we want people to know about what we do. Those are the particular things we want people to know, in addition to like how we look when we play live. And these things might be obvious to most people, like, oh yeah, obviously a musician, you want to see what they look like live. But it's just so much more important, it seems, to us that, they see us live, they understand this concept of duality and why we even do like the shapes we do, or the name we do, or the way we move, or the way we set up our shit when we play live, where I put my guitar,
Yeah, it all
where
makes
he
a
puts the
difference.
drums. All that makes a difference in terms of the like EXP, the experience.
Yes.
So so I just wanted to like bring like kind of control your narrative as far as like sort of like dramatizing it, because we don't really think about it like that. It's just and in many cases the concept comes before the like meaning behind it. We go, oh, that's like duo, you know, like we see the duality, or we see the sort of like meaningfulness after the thought.
the fact. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And that just sort of like really honors the concept of spontaneity and like the in the moment, you know. Again, going back to that, like that's a really important part of it. You know, I personally, as a musician, like experience like when you're in the studio, like when you start to try to redo things over and over, it starts to just get really murky.
Yeah.
And
it's not organic anymore, man.
Yeah, and I think having it be organic is our biggest thing. I mean, how many times have we done episodes and it's just like we can't.
Yeah.
It doesn't flow right. It doesn't seem right to us. And at the end of the day, I think the episodes that succeed the most are the ones where we can kind of come away from knowing like it was almost effortless, right? It's almost like it kind of takes
like how you said it was like sometimes it's your first take that is the best take, right?
Yeah.
That's
sometimes
how it is
it's
for
the
us.
second though, or the third,
Or
which
the
is
second.
fine, yeah.
But it's just, I don't know. In terms of creating, I've always found it more difficult. Like once you hit that record button, I feel like I'm inorganic, and it doesn't feel like I'm
100%.
creating authentically anymore. But once we've started to hone out those inhibitions, and we get better at creating. And I don't know what my point is with this, other than like being able to connect and make.
Well, let me help you on that. So, like for example, like you know when a camera's on or something, you know, or like they've seen how like when water is being observed or something, it responds differently on a molecular level.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So like being observed is on a cellular level is changing. So let me rephrase that. So like when you're being observed, things are changing on a cellular level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know, like I think about like my sister and my brother-in-law. They took like acting classes, you know, and they wanted to pursue acting, and I remember like finding that very interesting because you know they like in class they're like pretending to be dogs on their all fours and shit. You know?
We've taken acting classes. We know.
We know. I've been a dog a few number of times.
I've had to look at myself in the mirror for 30 minutes.
He was a sheep.
But I will say,
a goat.
I mean, like you know, as a musician or whatever, as I identify myself as, that was definitely something that was like new for me to see and accept. I didn't see it, but they were telling me about it, and I was like, oh, like. Would I do that? You know, and then like even improv, like I was telling Greg before we got here, like I understand that one of the sort of like understandings of improv is you don't negate, right?
I always say
you
yes.
keep it going.
Yes, and.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. So like, you know, these concepts were like really, fuck, man, I forget what I was gonna say. What were you talking about earlier?
About what connecting? Well, I was just talking about how our experience, in terms of performing, is just analogous to your guys' experiences.
No, there was something else.
No, that's not it.
That wasn't it?
I don't know.
Well, it was. Fuck, dude. I don't even. Fuck if I know.
I think it's interesting having the duality or the likeness of. I just lost it too.
Yeah, I lost it too. Like,
oh shit.
You know, it's like I wish it was like one of those like in the courtroom. You know, you have like
someone just like
stenographer?
taking it. Yeah.
Yeah. But
That's Otis, but
why
he's
was
never
I talking
fucking
about
here.
acting and stuff. Like, I guess because like you were talking about something, Christian. You were saying
It's like
something.
a flow state that you get into.
Flow state or like.
Well, okay. If we're gonna take it back a little bit.
Yeah, like what were you talking about?
When it's kind of like
sorry.
authenticity of our performance. Sometimes. I was bouncing off of what you guys were saying, like sometimes it's the first recording or the second recording that's the best, and then once you start to try to polish it a little too much, then it gets a little murky, and then it's not as organic or the product that you want it to be. And then I was saying that's how it is with us too.
He's trying to relate to you.
He was
In
just
short.
agreeing. And then you started talking about
I don't know.
how your sister Cameron took.
Yeah, and then I
classes.
started talking about my sister and Cameron. But you know, I think like Cameron's my brother-in-law, but like I think you know. There's just maybe it had something to do with just like the improvisational aspect of it, you know, like being in the moment and.
But you speak of it as if it's not something that you do all the time. right? You're almost talking about improvisation and this symbiotic relationship.
Yeah,
but it's
like
clear,
it's reserved for rehearsal or something like
but
that.
it's clearly something you tap into on the regular basis. It's like
All day, every day.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm finding it really interesting.
Yeah, it's a feeling for sure. Like when you're recording in the studio, like like when Greg was talking earlier about when we write music, sometimes it's a voice memo, and it will be something that he did on like sort of very improvisationally, right? Like it was something like it's almost hard to recreate. And I can totally relate to that. Like oftentimes whatever I might be riffing on is a voice memo, and then it's like literally me trying to recreate something I did. Mm-hmm. It's so fucked up.
Just to try and
Wow.
And I can't do it.
Do you ever feel like when you're doing it, it's almost like it's this out of body experience? And so when you come back and hear it again or see it again, you're almost like, that wasn't even me doing it. Like it was you doing it, but does that make sense? Or is that the most hippie thing I've ever said?
Listen back to it, and it's just like, because sometimes like I vibe with you on the voice memo thing. Like when you're trying to, like I've done it before. I don't songwrite because when I've tried, it's the whole imposter syndrome and like the inner criticism like hits me, and I'm like, no, fuck this, delete. But then I'll listen, and I'm trying to create a melody, and then let's say I've created a melody, like when I'm at work, sometimes I'll just like try to hum melodies like in my head, or like if someone. I've been doing this really goofy thing of like when someone does something, like if I'm mad at a coworker, I'll just start singing about my thoughts because it makes me happy and I don't lash out. I'll start saying like, "Oh, you're so dumb," and I'll just like make a fucking sentence and then that's a horrible thing.
If they hear it, it's horrible.
But let's say that there have been times where I've created a melody on the spot about like wearing masks or like washing hands and like, don't go outside, you'll get COVID. And then I'll forget what the fucking melody is and I'll try to recreate it while I'm pissing or shitting. And I'll be like, that wasn't the same thing. And it almost feels like it's an out of body experience. Like
that's very, very weird.
If that melody were to come back to my mind, this is super behind the scenes.
I get that way about bits sometimes when I'm writing comedy bits.
Let me answer this.
Sorry, this is a tangent.
Whoa, Christian. No, I'm just playing.
Tell us more about your shits.
Probiotics work. They work, guys. Got good gut health lately.
I would like to say, like, when you say outer body, you reminded me of definitely a feeling I feel when we practice sometimes. And the feeling is related to the autonomous nature of our ability to play what we are able to play and how sort of autonomous it is. Like, sometimes we have rehearsal and we play a full song. Let's say a Modern Person song you like, right?
I love that song.
We play that song sometimes. And for me personally, having played it for so many years, and then, for him also so many years, definitely me more because it's written long before I met him.
Oh, cool. I didn't know that.
But still, like 2-3 years.
I just play it better than all the other drummers.
Correct.
Hey.
I agree.
But, when we're done, it's like, oh my God, we just like...
We did this thing.
Yeah, like,
we made this beautiful thing.
Yeah, that was fucking good.
At least for me, I mean, I know for Greg too, it's because, he's beating his drums, I'm playing my guitar and singing. And when you're done, it is kind of outer body because it's like, I've been doing it so long, he's been doing it so long where it's like, yeah, we can see like any Joe Schmo in the room, how they might be impressed by it, but we still have those moments of like, what the fuck?
Fun. Yeah, look at what we're doing. Look at what we've created.
Like we're fucking making all this sound and singing, and it's good. It's not shit.
Or it'd be like if we like,
it's kind of like outer body.
If we haven't like rehearsed for a while, and then we come back and we play it, it'd be like, it's like we never stopped.
That's usually the case too.
Yeah. But it's like similar to that, like the out of body experience type thing. But one thing I was going to share is, like in regards to like the out of body experience, like there was like the polar opposite to that, which is I've thought that I've played like shit, and then I hear myself in a recording, I'm like, oh damn, that was killing.
Wow.
Yeah,
like that was really dope.
Yeah, we've had
when
that.
I would be like, like in the moment, I'd be like, this sounds like shit. Like what the fuck? I'm like tripping over myself or whatever. And then I go back and listen. I'm like, yeah, I fucking smashed on that solo.
Almost being too in the moment.
Yeah.
Almost being so aware and so into what's happening here, you're not able to see the forest for the trees.
Yeah.
And just like we kind of, there's levels to these things.
You letting that like judgment basically come into the moment, like the feeling. So sometimes Greg and I get together and we're about to play. He's like off work. I'm in a different mood. We try to level out however we can.
Sure.
Let's do this, whatever it is. But we're on different places, and then
does the music bring you guys to a common ground?
It can.
We smoke some tree first.
Fuck yeah.
That
Well, because sometimes me and Christian will do recordings, and if we're not quite at the right levels for each other, it's pretty noticeable for either of us, right? Like
You could feel it. And like even listening back to it, like I can feel like, oh, I'm not warm here, but like Alejandro, he's hot. And like, or like I'll be hot,
throwing it out.
and he'll be like not ready. And it's something I've been saying lately. And I've really been vibing with this phrase is being in the pocket.
I knew you
And
would.
I've known of
a
that
musician
phrase
phrase.
since
It's a good
musician.
phrase.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because of musicianship, but also being in the
It's
pocket.
also a football phrase, guys, but it means something way different.
you're probably right.
But like now
That's
I
like a
love
quarterback
it.
in the pocket, right?
I learned to appreciate being in the pocket in terms of like
In the pocket's flow state.
connecting.
Yes.
It's flow state.
Yes.
It's like when my inhibitions are
time.
down and like I am fully yours. I'm not worrying about like I'm not worrying if I
On
left the
tempo,
stove
Jack.
on. I'm not worrying if like I parked in. Can't be that bad. Oh, it can't be that bad. Oh. I'm not. There's nothing else in my mind except for me and the person that I'm connected with, being in the pocket, and like that's what like I think we really strive for. Like we feel it in the middle of
100%.
episodes.
Yeah.
And we're just like, oh, I'm here with you. I'm here with you, baby. Me saying baby felt inorganic, and now I'm no longer in the pocket.
Okay.
And this is my inhibitions now
No, I
building
liked Baby.
Yeah,
It's like I feel that way.
We all felt fine with Baby.
Yeah.
Okay, baby.
My favorite Justin Bieber song.
Beg to differ, but anyway.
I can also really show you what it means to be in the pocket.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
shit.
We would love to have you guys back in the
Tomorrow.
future. What are you guys doing tomorrow? We would love to have you guys back in the future. You guys are going to drop a new record soon, right?
Working on it.
Working on it. Do you guys have like a
Kind
time
of.
estimation as to when it might drop for the listeners to be able to like
Yeah.
seek it out?
I'll let you say it.
All right, so we're gonna drop this album definitely in December of this year.
Hey.
Nice.
Um,
December 1st?
no,
No.
Okay. Just because that's how we got our podcast started. I just threw a date out
It will be
hard.
December
Well, we do
between
that.
December 1st and December 30th.
31st.
Okay. The full month. This guy, just
Correct.
a quick tangent. Prior to doing this, or prior to starting the podcast, we had it in mind and we had some like practice episodes
yeah.
out, and we didn't have like a date of when we'd release it on like streaming platforms. And it wasn't until some improv show or at the end of our performance, Alejandro was like, hey, we got a podcast coming out soon. Be sure to check it out. It drops July 1st. And we hadn't spoken about it. And I looked at him, I was like, yeah, it drops July 1st, I guess.
Yeah.
That's how you get
Well,
it
we
done.
do that too. We do that too. Like we have our internal dates, you know, our sort of like I tell Greg like we're gonna do this album in November, September, or whatever. We've been doing that for the last couple months.
Yeah.
But you know, it's like
Life happens.
Yeah, and also
COVID.
it comes in waves, and I don't really try to force it.
For sure.
Yes.
For sure.
But our goal at the beginning of the year was to do 2 projects this year. We did one already, and we're gonna do another one.
Perfect.
So we just, you know, it's being written. It's called Ocean Mountain. It's coming out this year.
Let's fucking make it happen, yo, because we got the
December.
album cover artwork already and it looks dope.
Ocean Mountain in December, guys.
Yeah.
It's
Ocean
going to be
Mountain.
great.
Yeah,
Where
now
can people-
we spoke it right now, bro. We got
We did, and then we're gonna do another album in the beginning of 2021, which is it's gonna be spring of 2021, and that's gonna be it's going to be called Live Duo Exp Live from Somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay, and this is gonna be a special album where we record from multiple locations live, and it's gonna be
love this.
filmed as well. So the album art is done for that one too. Actually,
Hell yeah.
That
Fuck
So-
sounds
yeah.
awesome.
Shout
I'm excited.
out
Cameron,
Cam and who else?
Dampier.
Dampier.
Cameron Dampier is my brother-in-law, and he is the painter of our album cover for the next 2 records.
Fuck yeah.
So we're very excited. So you can check us out on duoexp.com. That's duoexp.com. And we're on all streaming platforms, and we will also prefer or would like for folks who want to check us out to go to duoexp.bandcamp.com so that we can properly get compensated for our music. And also, Bandcamp is just like really cool and has like a good platform for promoting more than just our music, you know, our content, our merchandise, etc. So, but I would say if for anybody who wants to check out Duo Exp, again, we're called Unnatural, the Duo Exp. If you want to check us out, just go to duoexp.com.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
And
You
we're
can find them on Instagram under that same handle, right?
Yeah, funny story. You can actually now because I made it last night. Duo Exp _.
Nice.
Oh, underscore comes after.
We got 0 followers.
Well,
so hit that follow
Is there
button.
somebody who has Duo Exp? Because
Yeah,
I'll
fuck
kill that person.
Fuck that person. It's some jabroni in Malaysia or some
I will
shit.
hold
I'm halfway there already,
I
baby.
will hold his arms back while you slit his throat.
Well, we won't slit his throat, but I'll spit on his throat.
Let's do it.
That was
Yeah, I'm good off of all that. But
Christian,
yeah,
me and
fuck
Christian will take care of
whoever's
it for you.
got
Don't worry, we
Duo
got you, bro.
EXP.
Gotcha.
What was it before?
So our Instagram handle was DUOEXP.
You had it.
We did have it. I made an executive decision to get us off the platform.
Don't we? So that yeah, that. Well, do you
but-
still have the login for it though?
It's gone. It's deleted. And but I have went ahead personally. I've decided to take a indefinite hiatus.
Wow.
Hiatus from the platform, but I've approved and asked and actually encouraged really Greg to take it on. So sounds like we already do have a DUOEXP underscore
Hell
Okay.
yeah.
handle, and you can check it out.
Dope.
And but DUOEXP.com is also a good place to get really just the whole experience, our content,
Everything.
photos, and videos, and the music
yeah.
itself. Yeah,
Dope.
Also, if you find us in public, we got some dope ass business cards too.
that's true. And some
Nice.
stickers
Nice
too.
paper cut.
Fuck
Yeah, you guys have some high quality business cards.
Thank you.
Thick
For
ass.
sure.
They
We'll
thick.
be putting all of your guys' links in our descriptions. So for you audio listeners out there or YouTube listeners, we will have everything that you need to find these two, all of their handles, and how you can support them. And once again, be on the lookout for their album coming out in December called Ocean Mountain.
That's correct.
Hey,
Ocean
yeah.
Mountain.
And we'll be plugging that on all of our ICBTB socials because
Because
guys,
we push
we're-
one button, it does it on all of them.
we're fans of you guys. We fucking love you guys. And we deeply appreciate you guys coming here and having deep talks. This has been one of our longest episodes ever, I believe. I think I grew a pimple in the middle of this episode.
You did. I see it.
All of our cameras.
You
have,
see it?
All of our cameras have turned off, so don't feel bad, Christian.
Yeah.
you know-
oh, really?
Oh, they're all off.
Oh, they're all
They've
off?
all died.
We ran out of battery, but it's
Nice.
okay. This is an audio platform
We've been
nonetheless.
watching a lot of Joe Rogan, so we just inspired to just talk for 3 hours. So.
No, I thoroughly enjoyed it. In
Hey,
fact,
Jamie,
I
pull that up.
I have at least 4 or 5 hours worth more of conversation
Wait,
I would love
real
to
quick, can you just confirm that?
have. Is that a fact? I believe
Can
it
we
is.
pull that up?
Yeah, hey,
It says here you're wrong.
yeah. Speaking of which, we're still looking for an intern that we're not going to pay, but please turn on all the cameras, set up all the lights, put
You
us in
don't-
focus.
You don't have to say that. That comes with the word intern.
Yes. Well, some people.
Man, let's be real. They get some food. Auntie to hook it up. Just-
Oh, I got the intern's gonna be getting something fun.
That sounds gross, dude.
Not
Don't be
how I meant
fucking
that.
our
That's-
intern.
I want some
man.
food.
That's actually
All
really
right,
bad. Yeah.
if you're being the intern, stay away from Alex 6 feet,
Yeah, 6
and
feet.
just make sure you ask for some Filipino spaghetti.
Ooh, that sweet spaghetti on deck. Yeah. Okay, Greg Sule.
Yo, thank you for having us. It's been
Appreciate
an
y'all
honor.
coming.
guys.
This
It's
is
been a
very-
great time. Fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah, bro.
Um,
We watched Twilight, so check us out.
Shout-outs.
Watch
Oh, that's
Twilight
right,
New
yes.
Moon for Thursday.
Yes, that's right. We do a movie episode. That's on
On
Thursday.
Thursdays.
Twilight New Moon is the movie.
give you
Shout
time
outs
to
to
do your
you
homework.
guys. My shout outs go to you guys.
My shout out also goes to
Act
to
Natural
you
to
guys.
Duo Exp.
Mine goes to Duo XP Act Natural.
Oh yeah. All right. Peace.
Can't be that bad, though.